The Arrows Up podcast is brought to you by Triumph Protective Coatings. They specialize in concrete polish, epoxy flooring systems, micro top, floor, and walls, and self-leveling underlays. They speak Spanish. You can find them on Instagram, Triumph_coatings. And if you use promo code ARROWSUP, you get a 10% off. This is what I have for you today. David was here. Trevor was here. And we finally got on the pod. We did it. David has talked about Trevor a lot in the pod, so if you've been listening to us, then the name Trevor is going to sound familiar. So he was here. Great conversation about his life recording, about his boxing, about sparring, judging. Just great boxing conversation. So hopefully you enjoy it. David, Trevor, here we go.
Red and white.
Yeah, it's a long sleeve.
Oh, it's like a Where's Waldo kind of thing going on, or what? What is this?
No, it's where's David? Is he watching the Super Bowl or not?
Dang. I'm glad you brought that up.
You're watching the Cancun Super Bowl? That's cool.
I'm glad it's being recorded already. So
Ravens, Lions. Good. That's cool.
Yo.
Trevor, dude.
What's up, mate? What's up, bro?
What's up, man?
Okay. Trevor, German Trevor.
What's up, Germ? Heard a lot about it.
I just want to say this is like
Turn the light on.
a long time coming because dude, Trevor's been listening since like Brute Thoughts, for our takes and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So
been around.
He's been around. Like he heard like early on, you know, like back when Canelo, you know, like pre 168 undisputed. I used to always like send like the links like, yo man, we dropped another pod. Here you go. Like check it out. So and he always wanted to be on. So
I've said it multiple times. I'm like, when I was in Paso, I was like, let me be on. And David's always like, nah.
I was like, you gotta wait. You gotta earn your stripes a little bit. You just gotta
the build-up's real.
He was gatekeeping.
It's gatekeeping.
A little bit, yeah. I'll admit it.
But also, I'll admit that there's way more stuff that like I can talk about now and stuff like that than I could back then when I was asking.
Right,
and stuff like that. There's more you can dive into.
Because
I've done a lot more.
Like
I was just a dude that was just existing at the sports club with you. That was about it.
Was Brute Thoughts like two years ago now already?
That was
like 2021.
No, like 3. Because it launched, I think, 2020. So
dang. Okay,
4.
yeah. So
4.
yeah, I remember because Trevor, you're 21, gonna be 22.
I'm 22. I'll be 23.
You're 22. Yeah. So like, I remember when he was like fresh out of high school, and he was like doing like the JC thing, and he was like, "Yo, I want to get on and talk about boxing," and like a lot has happened. So like, I remember like when Garcia and Tank fought, we were beefing. Me and Trevor were like out there. Like,
but I was at college at that point. But like when Brute Thoughts started, like I said, I was at the sports club with you. And
I know,
like that.
yeah. So he was always around. He was like, "Come on, man! Like, let me get on. Let me." So.
Because I always used to be like, I'd always be texting you updates about fights because you wouldn't be watching the fights. I would be watching the fights. So I'd be like,
that's true.
I would text you round by round updates.
He would give me updates because like I'd be out gigging. So like when Canelo and Plant fought, he was like, "Yo, this round they just finished this round."
I see.
So you know,
yeah.
He's
he would come back to like my 25 text messages, basically being like the round breakdowns, being like, who's winning, like who did what in this round, like what happened.
That's perfect.
He's like, "Oh, Canelo's still winning." Like, very good.
It was just like a running diary. Everything
running diary.
Dude, so
man, you should have reached out to me directly. Just skip to.
I should have texted Jerome. I should have been like, David was being a horrible middleman. I had to go straight to the source.
hey, have your people talk to German people. You know what I mean? Like that's.
Oh, I know we're playing boxing politics here now.
Yeah,
Have your people talk to my people.
Call me the
Is Oscar the lawyer?
What's the dude from? Is it Mauricio Suleiman, like the WBC guy?
Like, the Mauricio.
That's me. I'm over here in the shadows, just trying to keep things the way I like them.
Now we just like to go public with everything. We're just out here like just going public with everything. Now we want public like negotiations, public talking, public call outs. Exactly. We're just public everything now. Like we're out here like yesterday I was talking with Vidal, my boxer guy that I work for and stuff like that. And he was like, we're talking about
what's his last name? Vidal?
Vidal Riley.
Vidal Riley.
Yeah. Up and coming prospect over in the UK and stuff like that. He has a fight date I can't say yet, but coming soon.
And what was he saying?
He was saying we're talking about Conor Ben versus Devin Haney and stuff like that. And he was like, I think that'd be an interesting fight. And we're really breaking down about the idea of like, he was like, you can kind of see the difference in like the steroids usage. He's like, because we were looking back at the fight that he had with not Ben Whitaker, the Pete Davidson or something like that. What? I forgot his name. The one he just had and stuff like that. He's like, you can see that he's not as fast, he's not as powerful as he was when he was on pre-steroids. He was Conor Ben the Destroyer. He was knocking fools out. But now it's like when he fought this guy, he didn't knock him out and stuff like that. He didn't seem as strong. He didn't seem as fast. So you can see the difference
the fight right after. They were like, he like was missing a gear, and they were like, "Oh, dude, like could it have been?" Which, but at the same time, like that's the thing. Like even with like Canelo, for example, the whole clenbuterol thing. After they like, even though he was like innocent, they were still like, "Oh, he looks," they're always gonna say things, Plus, he's young, right?
He's not. Yeah, Conor Ben's young, but he's not going to lose that. That's going to be something that's just going to stick with them till forever. Like Canelo still gets that stick, and it's been how long now?
Yeah, it's been years.
Like that's something that like even though it could have been accident, it could have not have been accident because we have America that's letting him fight, but British Border Control's not letting him fight. That's why he fought in Vegas at 2:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah,
because he's fighting over here now, and now he's like in talks. So like first over there he's fighting like UK guys, and now he's over here now, and Bill Haney's approaching him at his fight, being like, "Hey, we need to get it on me, you and Haney, or you and Haney," and then now Eddie Hearn and Gervonta are online negotiating and talking about Conor Ben versus Gervonta Davis.
I don't like Bill Haney. He gets on my nerves.
Did you see the clip of him talking about him approaching like Conor Ben was doing his interview, and you see Bill Haney in the corner. He's like, "Hey, come here." He's like, "I respect you, champ. Like you're a good fighter, and stuff like that. But like you and Haney got to get it on. Like we got to get it started." And they're like talking, and Conor Ben's like, I'll do it. He's probably gonna get one of his fattest paychecks from fighting either him or Tank. He's gonna get his fattest paycheck because I don't think any of those UK guys really have the bigger name than those guys that are here in the US.
Yeah.
Why do you think the UK guys struggle so much whenever they like come over here or they face a
North American, like just
just like this side of the pond, because it almost feels like when you see them box, they're it's a completely different worlds of talent, of everything, that I'm just like, man, like obviously boxing's huge there, but it seems like the talent is behind everywhere else. Because even the what was his name? Callum Smith, his last fight.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like, man, like he just had. I've seen him fight British guys, and he knows how to use his reach. He knows how to keep guys off. And it just he fights Canelo, and I get it. He fights Berbatov, and he's a bulldozer. But I'm like, man, like he just couldn't use his skills at all that we saw him showcase or have seen him showcase against other guys.
But I think that we saw a different bit of beef than we've ever seen in that fight, though.
That's true.
A lot of people were shocked about his jab. His jab was insane in that fight and stuff like that. And like he's 40 years old, isn't he?
He's up there. He's like
he's up there. Like he's just a different breed of human, bro. Like he's still out here doing that. Like I said, it's just he nullified everything that Callum Smith wanted to do in that fight. And he's only 44 years old. I know a bunch of people that were like, Callum Smith might actually take this. Like I think he's not just don't underestimate Callum Smith in this fight. And I'm just saying, like, he didn't do as good as I was expecting either. But also, like you said, Bitterby is a tank. Like that made me be like, Bivol versus him is going to be interesting.
I would say like like the Eastern European guys are kind of the exception to the Euro bum. Like they would say
sure.
Euro bums,
sure.
you know. But like the UK guys for sure. There's always like you got a few shifty ones like throughout the years. You know, I'm talking like the Prince Nassim's, those kind of guys. But even like Billy Joe. But yeah, I wonder if it just has to do with like the amount of people available to train with in the States, even in North America, right? Like all of like Latin America, the US.
We have so many coaches.
The UK is it's just like its own little pod. And sure, you can get guys from nearby countries, but honestly, I mean, you never really hear about like, I know like Sandro Martin, like he's a Spanish fighter. Is Otto Wallen like a German guy? You never really hear about fighters from like the other little European countries because it's like they're just kind of hanging there. But the US, dude, they're like so many contenders or like rising prospects in each division. So I wonder if it's just like the availability of guys. Because think about it, if you're in the UK and you want to go and get like some good sparring somewhere, you probably have to travel like somewhat far or fly someone out to you to come and like, you know, do that. Like even with like when Joshua was with Robert Garcia, like they had to fly like to and from each other to like get it done. And it's like, I wonder if that might have something to do with it, like just because they're in such a different sphere. And then you have Russians like fighting bears like in their spare time, you know. So it's like, but yeah,
I think coaches' availability is a little bit different. It's also just a smaller area overall. Like the UK is a lot smaller, so like you got to depend on like where the coaches are and stuff like that. Because I know that like a lot of the fighters that come over here and stuff like that because they want that like UK coaching. It's like Anthony Joshua. Vidal used to fight in Mayweather gym. He used to be a Mayweather guy. He used to fight in the Mayweather.
Oh, the one in
Mayweather gym.
The one in Vegas. Yeah.
Yeah. The one in Vegas. He used to be there and stuff like that. And now he's back over in the UK and stuff like that, working with his dad and stuff like that. So I think it just depends and stuff like that. It's like, just he said, I think it's just the availability. It's like, we got Mexico, we got Las Vegas, we got California, we got like Los Angeles. Like we got all New York, like
New York.
There's so many different. There's so many different areas and stuff like that. And I just feel like you don't really have that over inside of London and like the UK and stuff like that in that area. But there are some stars over there. Like right now, Ben Wittick's getting some big attention right now. If you saw his fights and his clips right now, the way that everyone's like, the way he was flaunting in that dance ring and stuff like that, people are liking him right now.
Is that the dude that was kind of like I don't know, showboater guy? Okay, yeah, okay. He had like little dreads, kind of like a little fro.
Yeah, you see him like shimmying. He was like, boom.
That was insane, dude. I was like, dang, that's next level. But yeah,
like Muhammad Ali. Give me like Muhammad Ali.
True, yeah, like for sure. But
he was flowing out there on that canvas.
Yeah. Bruh. Well, Trevor, okay, so I was telling Germ before because he was like, yo, like what exactly like are we gonna, what are we gonna go over? And I sent him like the document for George, right? And like how you shoot video for him, you edit it with him. And he's okay. And then I was like, but the thing with Trevor, I was like, it's not just like the film. I was like, the film is like, it's a vehicle you use. But I was telling him how like you've kind of entered the world of boxing in a very direct way, which I mean, I was pretty impressed with because like I saw you like when you first started getting into boxing and you started talking to me and I was like, oh, I'm a big boxing guy. So like, let's talk shop and everything. And so you started training on your own, but then like once you went to LA, like you branched out and now you kind of have like a finger and a toe over here, a finger and a toe over here. You've been in some big gyms. You've been in some like more low key gyms. You've been to like professional fights. You've also been to like Muay Thai. I think you've done like Muay Thai fights. I think you've judged for one of them. Influencer boxing, female boxing. So
a little bit of everything.
Yeah. So take us back. Like, Because I remember like I told you about
George, the story,
but yeah, there's a whole other thing. Because I mean, you used to go to you still go to the UFC gym, but you mentioned all these people now, like your homies, your coaches that you like train with on a daily basis. So kind of take us back, let us know,
Yeah. So
how far back do you want to go?
Yeah. I can kind of like give a brief overview from the start. It doesn't take very long because it's like it was like 2 years of like me training at the sports club every single day by myself. But I'm not going to go into much detail about it. But then it really kicks off once I got down to school. But no, for the longest time I've like been a huge. I mean, more into YouTube boxing. I got into YouTube boxing about 2018, but I was kind of just watching it, not really training for fighting and stuff like that. I was just watching it. And then once I kind of realized, I was like, okay, like I actually enjoy watching boxing, not just because it's influencers, but also like stuff in general. So I started watching like Ryan, Canelo, Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder and Tyson had like, I think their third fight around that time and stuff like that too. So all those points were like kind of merging in. So then I started getting my own boxing gloves and started just training by myself. Nothing crazy, just training by myself. And then I got down here to LA and I realized that like I found like my passion, and my passion's basically like I love boxing and I love shooting video. So I like finding that nice those merging of both worlds and stuff like that, where I still get to train, but also I'm still doing video stuff and I still love capturing and telling stories.
So which they merge very, very well.
They do merge very, very well, especially since the era that we're in now, where you gotta start promoting yourself a little bit. You gotta start doing some media and stuff like that. It's the way it is now.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's how you're going to get publicity. That's how you're going to sell pay-per-views. That's how you're going to build your name. It's just how it is. And there's ways of doing it that like, there's people that do it cringily and like very like annoying but there's ways of doing it that like are super just like heartfelt and like storytelling. It's like, everyone's got a story. A lot of these fighters, if you just sit down and talk to them, have like a cup of coffee, they're going to tell you their life story and stuff like that. And it's like, there's like just talking about from George and stuff like that, like doing his documentary and stuff like that. It's like, I dove into his stuff. And then we've talked about like, we have a documentary coming out that we're going to try shooting pretty soon about his health issue that he's been like fighting with over the years.
Shout out to George Acosta. That's what you're talking about.
Shout out to George Acosta. Yeah, George Acosta. George Acosta fighting third. I don't know when's this podcast coming out, but he's fighting Thursday, February 8th on the Teofimo versus Jamie Ortiz undercard. It's his top rank showing.
Nice.
So
okay. So for a minute you were like, I don't know who he's signing with, but okay, so it's top rank. All right.
Yeah, top rank. He signed. Yeah, it's just like it's like one little like his showing until like he has to go out there and put on a show, and then after that they'll bring up a contract. I'm hopefully.
Yeah.
It's not like that one fight, show up, do like put on a show and stuff like that, and then we'll offer you a contract and stuff like that. So that's gonna be huge. But yeah, no. So how I got in contact with George was because David went to high school, right? High school with him.
Yeah.
Went to high school with him. Yeah, he went to high school with George. And he's always mentioned to me, like texting, like back when I was training myself, to text George and like ask for like tips, ask for advice because he was a homie. And so that's how I got in contact with him. So then I got down here and I had a project for one of my classes that was, I got assigned to do the documentary, to direct a documentary. And I was like, oh, I want to use this not as just, I don't want to take this as just a school assignment. Like there's people that were like doing assignments of like the janitors here, coaches, students. I was like, no, I want something that's going to like basically put my name on the map. Like I want something that's gonna like, I want to do it professionally. I want to do it. I want to do it as high as I possibly can. Still meet my like criteria that I do for class, but something that like I can take to people and show like, hey, this is what I can do, and that show them that package deal. So I was like deciding. I was debating back and forth. At that point, I had been to Jackrabbit to do some sparring, some boxing at Jackrabbit, and so I got into contact with Ashton Silv, who just fought on the Most Valuable Prospects 5 card. He's someone that I know and stuff like that. He's a super nice guy. So I was in talks with him, and then I was in talks with George, trying to figure out who I wanted to do. And I was like, George is someone that I feel like I can really dig into more personally, because also like I've known him more and stuff like that. It's not going to be as like news meeting Ashton. I didn't know Ashton as well as I knew George. And then Ashton also, I was like, dude, he's also now a bigger star, because at that point he had just signed Jake Paul's promotion. So it's like, oh, so he's going to have like that big name now. And I don't know about time wise. And I had like a crew that I had to also use that go to school here to award my project. So I decided, I was like, I want to go with George. So I went with George.
Plus George is like, he's like in the area, right? Kind of. Because I know like
he's in the area. I bet
like the other guys, like they travel a bunch if they do other fights and everything. And
yeah. Well, Ashton's from Long Beach. So
He's from Long
So,
Beach, I
and
think.
yeah, he's from Long Beach. So he's close to. He's close to. They're
Yeah.
relatively the same. So I was like, okay, so let's do George. And so we got in contact with George, and we made the documentary and told the story inside the fighting mind. And I had so much fun with that. That was like, it was huge for me. Not just because I got to like sit down and like interview. It's because of I also got to go to his fight and sit ringside. That was my first ringside fight. Was going to his fight and sitting ringside.
Yeah.
Dang.
And so at that point, I was like, dude, this is huge. I got to be in the locker room. I get to be like, I'm here. Like I'm literally like in a VIP spot that people can't normally get to.
Yeah.
Unless you're a fighter. And at this point, I was like, no, like this is what I want to do. So I uploaded that documentary, and it, like I said, it did what I wanted it to do. It made an impact, and it's brought me huge opportunities with a lot of fighters from Jackrabbit that I've talked to. Like I got my buddies B Dave, I got my buddies Minicon, and Ashton, and some other ones that are there. And then I've gone into contact with some at Brick House in Upper LA. And then like I've gone to knockouts with George too, and like that's where I've like, seen like and been with Virgil Ortiz. I got to see Virgil Ortiz spar and be in the gym with Virgil. That was huge. That's an opportunity that like I'm gonna hold forever. Just because of like someone that like likes boxing, the locals are huge, and so at that point, then it's like that's just stuff. It just kept sprouting, and that's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to come here to my school and be like and just sit there every single day and make these student short films. And be like, what do they amount to? Like, I'm here in this area. Like, I get to live here, like, pretty cheaply because in college. And I have these opportunities where I'm like, I get to go and do these things. And so I want to make sure that I capitalize on them. And I don't want to let a single one pass by. And so I haven't. I got to do some, and like I said, so like I've met some fighters. And I do video for some of the fighters. And I get to go sit ringside of these fights. I got to judge fights. I got to go judge Influencer Fight League. An influencer fight league that they have here in LA and stuff like that. And so I got to judge two of the fights. And so that was super cool. I got to sit ringside and judge. So that was super cool. On top of that, we just also done like more of George's fights. Like the last fight with George, I didn't sit just ringside. I got to be in his corner. I got to do all this video stuff. And then I also was in his corner.
Yeah.
And so that was like, it's just every single time I just get closer and closer. And so that's just super cool just to be there and stuff like that. Like I remember I went into like the room to film, and because they were filming inside of a studio, we're not allowed to, they didn't want, inside like the studio soundstage, they didn't want us filming inside the soundstage, like any camera stuff. So once George passed that line, I couldn't film anymore. It was the studios and then also the promotions. So then basically because of that, George is like, come work corner, like come be in the corner. So I got to sit in the corner and stand in the corner and stuff like that. And then like when like George would come to the corner, I would be up on like the ropes with him and stuff like that. And I got to be in the ring, take the photo afterward. Like those are all just like moments for me that like 2 years ago, looking back on myself, I would be like, I was like watching these fights being like, dude, I hope like one day I can get there. Like that was just a dream to me.
Right.
And I've made those come to fruition. I appreciate George mostly. George is the one I will give praise to the end of time. Is like, he's the one that, because of him letting me film a documentary is what sprouted these opportunities for me. And I've always said that to him, like, dude, I appreciate you. Like, I have much love to you that like you've gotten me to this point.
Right.
It's
a lot like, I don't know if you remember 24/7, but the whole aspect or point of 24/7, and obviously everybody's done their own imitation of it, but was the story. Because if people care about the story, then people are going to watch. And that was always the philosophy behind that show, which was, I think, the best show when it came to like tracking somebody, and you had I forget the guy's name, but his voice is so legendary, and he just starts speaking, and you just get so like, oh man, here we go. And I watched the documentary you did, and it was very similar, because that's the whole point. The whole point is to get this story out, because now you're captivated. Now, when he gets in the ring, it's not just a boxer. It's a boxer who comes from this background, who's gone through this, who's lost this, who's won this, who has felt this, and all of a sudden you're rooting for someone far beyond just someone with gloves, or, oh, well, I'm rooting for this guy because he's the Mexican in this fight. It becomes almost a representation of you, because you think like, oh man, that guy that guy could be my cousin. I know people like him.
Right.
And all of a sudden you're so connected to them. How do you, like, how much of it is you capturing that, like those moments, and how much of it is the fighter letting themselves out? Because I've there has to be kind of like a trust from both ends, where you're trusting that the fighter is going to give you something genuine, obviously something, something good, but something genuine. And also on the other side, he's kind of trusting that you're going to put him in a good light. Like, how much of that, when you first started, how long did it take for you to build that connection, that trust, that A, you were going to showcase the story correctly, and B, and you trusting that he was going to give you something that was worth putting on tape?
Yeah.
I think you have to give it about a 50-50. Because like you're putting like you said, like he had to put a lot of trust in me. And it's like, I think that's another reason why I went with George versus Ashton, because also it's like like you see the topic that I tackled inside of it is because I feel like a lot of documentaries or fight content leading up to it is always about the training and preparation and stuff like that. And it's always about that. It's always like, oh, how is camp? Like doing them inside of camp and stuff like that. You don't really, so like my process is like, when I'm going into this, I was like, I want to dive into the fighter's mind, because that entire process, that entire fight build, that entire fight camp is mentally draining. There's multiple things going through your head throughout the entire process.
Right.
So I'm like, I want to tackle this, and I really want to dig into his mindset about this fight, and like how that emotional roller coaster is for him. Like where is he at when he's at his lows? Where is he at when he's at his highs? Finding that, like digging into that. And so basically coming down to it, it's like, oh, like if George, who I'm like kind of friends with on Instagram and I've talked to more and stuff like that and built more of a connection because I train, is he going to give me more information, or is Ashton, this guy that I've met twice at this point, who's now a bigger star, going to give me more information? And also it comes down to the fact that like also like how they probably, when they do documentaries, they probably get paid.
Right.
I couldn't pay them too. So it's also like, oh, how much was he going to give me if I come into and say like, oh, you're kind of doing this for free. How much is he going to give me?
Yeah.
George is just a humble guy and like loves to just help out people. And you see that, especially because how many fighters coach? He coaches and he fights.
Yeah.
Not he does a lot. I saw he fights like professionally. He coaches. As a student, I think he goes to college.
Yeah. He's a student. Yeah, he goes. And
then he has his own YouTube channel too, which he has like several thousand followers or subscribers. So I'm like, yeah, I didn't think of that. How it's like the other guys, they might be like, oh, if it's free, what can I really get out of it? Versus George, who's like, you have a deeper connection with him. You actually like, you've hung out with him, you've trained with him. So yeah, okay,
yeah, because
like I said, saying,
no, go ahead.
It's just because it's like they're going to see a paycheck and they're going to be like, oh, I'll go more into detail because I'm getting a paycheck out of this.
Yeah.
But like when you're something free, it's like you're going to see a much different effort put in and stuff like that. So it's like if I go with him, which is technically a bigger star, which would be kind of cool to work with, be a bigger star. Yeah, that's cool. But also, am I going to get like that good of a story out of him, or is he going to be kind of minimal with what he says?
And how authentic too. Like it's just like
how authentic. Right. And I'm not dissing Ashton. I still love Ashton's still a homie.
Yeah, no,
it's just a difference at that point.
Yeah.
It's just a difference. And so I just was like, and George probably has more time on his hands in retrospect also to like kind of work with me. He did. He worked with our schedules better and stuff like that because he had more time. He was like, here, we'll shoot at this gym versus this gym because it's closer and stuff like that. And it's easier to get to.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just worked out. And then like you said, like I got to go to his fights. So I got to add the fight aspect into it, which I don't know if I would have had with Ashton. Ashton could have been like, oh no, I can't get you to my fight and stuff like that because it's across the state or like across the state, or it's all the way across like multiple states on the other side of the world. So it's like that could be harder for him to get to. And I feel like the fight aspect level of the documentary amongst itself, having that element of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's
because it can be tricky because you can be filming them. And I think one of the things that's sometimes frustrating about athletes is when they give you the PC answer. And I think especially with fighters where everything is so mental, especially you always want to have that edge, that if you give anybody any credit for anything, it almost feels like you're letting your guard down. So it's like, oh, did that hurt you? And it's like, oh no, that didn't hurt me. It was just whatever. Or no, everything is good, everything is sharp. And you're like, well, come on, you're human. There has to be these moments of highs, lows, and that's where I think like the storytelling becomes good, because whenever you get a fighter who, or an athlete, because it's not just fighting, an athlete who isn't willing to give you that, it kind of makes for bad storytelling. And I think that's what was one of the things that stood out from watching the documentary, was he was so open about just his process to get to the fight. And maybe, and I was like, man, like there had to be a level of comfort that he got to, and also the way, there was, and vice versa, where you felt comfortable enough to put what you put on. And I'm like, man, that's really cool, because you don't see that very often now. That's type of storytelling where someone's being honest about the ins and outs of the process. And I think that makes it so much different, to get
100%.
Yeah.
Well, another thing too. Another thing too that I took into consideration also when doing this was just because of like, if I did with the Ashton I just signed, everyone's probably asking a billion questions about most valuable promotions and working with Jake and stuff like that. So it's like, it's going to be a repeat. And when I looked at George, I was like, there's more that I can dive into. I can dive into a lot about his fighting, but also I think his coaching is a huge aspect too. Like how does he coach on the mental side of boxing? Because you still need to coach your fighters about what you put them through in that when you get underneath the lights. So that was an aspect that I went into in the podcast. And then alongside, at that point, George had a loss on his record. So I wanted to dive into about his one loss.
Yeah.
Because I think that when you get a loss on record, you propel to another level when you sometimes take an L. So I wanted to dive into that. Ashton didn't have any. So I can't dive into his losses. I had to just dive into about every single one of his wins. So I wanted to go in about his loss. And he dove in about how he felt about his loss and where it put him in a spot, in a mentality, and how he's blossomed because of that and how it's helped him improve.
Yeah.
So those are all little things that, like, when I sat down my script, I said, like, these are the points that I want to dive into, and I want to make sure that I dive deeply into them. I don't want to just scrape the surface. I want to make sure that we're digging deep when we get that.
Yeah.
When Jer mentioned like how athletes like to give like the short answer, or like the PC answer, it really makes me appreciate Graham Bensinger's interviews, because that guy doesn't let like anything slide. Like if he doesn't understand something that you said in an answer, he'll be like, what do you mean by that? Or in what way? And so I've seen like with him, he's interviewed like De La Hoya. Like, and the Canelo one was huge. Like when he went to his house in Guadalajara.
You told me about that one.
Barkley.
That was inspiration.
Because it's like if he gives you an answer that, like, if you get an answer that you don't like, he'll be like, I need you to elaborate. And like he kind of pushes the envelope a little bit with that. And I'm just like, no, I like that, because some of these guys like I don't know, like whether it's they're media trained or maybe they don't want to get into a certain thing, but it's like it's like terms like the storytelling is like I want everything. I hate when someone's getting interviewed and it's got to take two to tango. Like if someone's asking like bad generic questions or like bad generic answers, and like, you know, like vice versa, and it's like, so I like, you gotta have someone asking like good questions and then getting a good answer out of them too. And then obviously like having like a certain level of trust to want to give out like a good answer, you know, because it's like I that being said, I can also see why like athletes are kind of like, when you see them in press conferences, they're kind of just like they want to get out of there, or they just want to give like the, you know, oh yeah, that was this, that, and that, and then like, all right, next question, blah blah blah. And it's like, so I don't know, I missed 24/7, dude. That was like what a time.
HBO boxing in general. What a time.
Yeah, no, for sure.
What a time.
RIP. HBO and
Showtime. How was Virgil Ortiz? How was that experience?
Oh, Virgil. It was a good experience.
Yeah.
I did. I had talked because when I was there,
what gym was this at? Was this here in SoCal? Or sorry,
yeah, it was at
SoCal, but down in
Knockouts.
SoCal.
He doesn't train at Knockouts anymore. He doesn't train in SoCal anymore. I think he trains in Texas. I think now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where he's
from.
from.
Georgia, pretty sure. Yeah, pretty sure George told me that. But yeah, I remember I walked into the gym to go shoot because I realized I wanted more B-roll of the documentary.
Mm.
And George was like, "Oh, I'm going to be here at Knockouts these days and stuff like that." And then I was like, "Am I also a cinematographer?" And he was like, "Oh, I'm super busy. I can't do it." So I was like, "Okay, I'll go and do it instead." And so I like went there and stuff like that. And I'm getting there, and like George is kind of just like getting wrapped up. And I look over in the corner, and I see Virgil standing there.
Man.
And I looked at George, and I was like, "Is that Virgil Ortiz?" And he's like, "Yeah, Virgil Ortiz trains here and stuff like that." And I was like, "Oh, what the heck?" And then his coach, George's coach, Jeff Lotry, love Jeff. He looks at me. He goes, "Did you want to go meet him? Do you watch Virgil?" And I was like, "Oh, I love watching Virgil." And he's like, "Let's go." So we went over there and stuff like that, and we talked, took a picture, we talked about boxing. I talked about what I do and stuff like that. And he was just like, "Yeah," he's like, stick around and stuff like that. I'm sparring today. He's like, "You can watch my sparring sessions and stuff like that." And he was like, "You can like take notes and just kind of just see what I do." So yeah, I stayed there. George was warming up. I was watching what Virgil do his spar. And then I was like, "Oh, I gotta go take video of George training." So I went and did that. But it was just in that environment. And then afterward, I talked to him for a little bit of spar and stuff like that. And he was just going over like stuff that like he felt like he needed to improve on, and stuff that like he needs to work after what he realized in that moment. So that was just super that was just eye opening. Just like also just be with that, that environment and just talking to like a high level pro fighter like that.
What is it about these guys that fight that make them the nicest dudes around? Because you hear the best stories are always about boxers or, combat fighters, where you meet them and they're like the most welcoming, the most like just friendly dudes around. I think part of it is probably the fact that they feel so comfortable, the fact that they can beat you up, and maybe that like just brings so much. Like,
they're always safe. They're like, "I'm good." Like,
well, because it kind of they're never in a place where they probably feel threatened. Like
right.
There's a clip of this guy, this fan that walked up to LeBron and he just wanted like a hug. And LeBron like totally freaks out, and he's like, "Wow!" Like and he stiffs arm him, and that never happens to a fighter. Like somebody approaches a fighter, and the fighter is always like, "Hey, dude, what's up, man?" Like, and I think part of it is the calmness of, well, if you want to fight me, it's not going to end well for you. But so you've been around fighters. What makes them so like friendly?
So I have a funny story actually about fighters, like, and they're kind of like just like being around them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This isn't my story. David knows this person. So it's Devin. I have a story about Devin. So because I go up to fighters and stuff like that, and I noticed that they're super chill and stuff like that. Devin had an experience where he was in Hawaii at the zoo, and he saw Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz was there looking at giraffes with his family.
Yeah.
And Devin was nervous to approach him because he's like, "What the heck?" Because at first he didn't think it was Nate Diaz, and then he heard Nate Diaz's lisp, being like, "Oh, look at the giraffe," and like stuff like that. Like then he's like, "Oh, it's Nate Diaz." But he was scared to approach Nate Diaz because he wanted to like talk to him, take a picture. But he's like, "Dude, I'm worried that he might freak out and like attack me." And then later on, he saw them like on his Instagram taking photos of fans there and like in like Waikiki and stuff like that. And so I told him, I said, "Here's my thing." I said, "I think a lot of these fighters are a lot more nice when you approach them is because of their upbringing."
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think they've been through it. They've like some of these fighters have been bullied. They've been in fights and stuff like that. So I think that it kind of gets to a level of like they've seen it all.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it's like now there's a level of respect being like, okay, like I don't want to like make that person feel that way. I don't want to scare the person. I want to show that like I'm a kind person. I'm humble at heart and stuff like that. And like and we're all just here to learn. We're all just here to learn at this point and stuff like that. And most people will come up and take pictures because they're fans. They want to support them. They want to learn from them and stuff like that. Like I did from Virgil. So I think it's upbringing. I think
with the fighters, like as long as you come correct and you're just like, "Hey man, like sorry to bother you. Like, is it cool if I feel like they're usually going to be, unless they're like in a rush or something, they're usually like, "Oh yeah, sure, dude, real quick," Because I remember I went to the hotel I play at. Chuck Liddell had dinner, And I didn't want to like go bother him, but I saw him from afar. I was like, oh, there's like the mohawk and everything, you know?
Yeah.
But I was talking to the manager of the hotel because he had dinner with him. He got to sit.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, dude, he's like the nicest guy. Like he just, you know, and like his Lambo was parked outside and everything. But they're like, dude, super humble. Just they just want to, you know, eat their meal and like enjoy their time. And I was like, dang, because I like we always see them like, you know, bouncing like heads off of like canvas or whatever, but they're just like, hey, you know, or like. But that makes sense though. Like if they've had like skirmishes before in life, like if you just walk up and you're like, hey, I'm so and so, like, can I get a picture? Like just wanted to say I appreciate like what you do. They're like, oh, thanks, you know, like because that was my thing too. Like at the NAMM show, like the music convention, like there were a bunch of people that I saw that like I knew, and most of them are pretty friendly. So unless you come up with like this like crazy energy and like very like I don't know, like cringe, I guess. Like they're usually going to be like, yeah, sure, like we can take a picture together or like whatever, and you know, but yeah. But that I never thought that was fighters too. Like they're like it's like if they think about it, they're like, unless you pull a gun on me, they're like, I'm totally fine walking around like with these hands for anybody. You know
well,
what I mean?
because you see because the hockey players have the same like rap in terms of the same reputation as fighters. But I think it's that idea where these are two you know groups of athletes where they're famous, but they're not like
Taylor Swift type famous.
Well, forget Taylor Swift. They're not like LeBron James famous.
Right.
You know, like they're not like your typical American sports athlete famous.
Yeah. Right.
Where it's a bit different when you're one of those fighters that's like at the highest level. Like even like someone like I remember when I met Floyd and I saw Floyd, he was walking. I used to work at a jewelry company, and he went and I used to like buy the chains where he would buy his chains from.
Nice.
And I got there and I was picking up a chain. The guy's like, hey, if you stick around, Floyd's gonna be here. And like he's like on his way. And so I'm like, are you serious? He's like, yeah. He's like, so you can't be in here because he rented out the spot. Like it's only him. But if you just wait around, you'll see him. And obviously he walks in with like, you know, his big old like
the entourage, yeah.
The entourage, his bodyguards.
And I saw him, I'm like, Floyd, you're the best. And he's like, oh man, thank you. I appreciate you. And he just went, and it was just like, but the guy you see on TV is this like crazy, like, you know, super full of himself.
Yeah,
but on the street, he was just like super sweet and super like thankful for that. And I think a lot of it is they don't have this level of celebrity. And also when they lose is the worst thing ever because they put everything into it. And when they win, it's the greatest thing ever because that's the opportunity of a lifetime. Where a regular athlete, well, there's always next season. There's always next game. There's always like there's always another game. And I think that kind of eliminates any like drastic approach that they may have. But it is interesting. It is interesting.
I think there's a level of like humanity also behind it and stuff like that. It's like a lot of these fighters, they're just normal humans. Like they're just living. They don't have these like a lot of them don't have these big like sport contracts that the NBA and the NFL do and stuff like that. They have more one-off contracts for certain fights. Like there's like the big stars like Canelo and stuff like that get those big ones.
Right.
Is the worldwide names. So I think a lot of these fighters are just more just kind of like on a human level and stuff like that. Because like even when I judged like the influencer fight, a lot of those like celebrity influencer boxer guys would come and they'd be next to me and stuff like that. And at that point, I didn't know them that well, and like they would be like recording and stuff like that, and I'd stand up and be like, I'd be sitting there like doing stuff, and the fight would be over. I'd be like, oh wow, that was insane. Like, that was a good fight. And then one guy looked at me and starts recording. He was like, dude, be in my Instagram live. And I'd be like, hey, what's up, guys? Like, it's Instagram live. And I'm like, this guy has no idea who I am. I'm just literally this influencer boxer judge at this point. And then after that, after that, after Instagram Live, we talked and stuff like that. We got to know each other. But at that point, it was just like, dude, I was just a random guy, and he just wanted me in his video.
Yeah.
And so that's the human
come
level.
Say hey, like that's it. Like just come see.
Yeah, come
up.
say hey. And like one guy was like recording, like his buddy was fighting or something like that, or like with some guy that he trains with was recording, and then like all of a sudden he flipped the camera. He goes, "So what'd you think of what'd you think of the fight?" And I'm just like, "Hey, like this and this. This is how I like scored it. Blah blah. This like this is where you did good. This is where you did bad, and stuff like that." And he's just like, "Okay." He's like, "Okay. I'll take note of that." So I work with him. I'll tell him that and stuff like that. So it was just like they didn't know who I was. I'm not some big name influencer person. I'm not walking around with like 500K followers.
Right.
And so it's like. So that's just the human point. They're just like the humanity inside of them, like making that appearance of just being like I'm on their level. I'm not anything like so I'm not a superstar yet. I'm not like a LeBron James or Michael Jordan or someone walking around. I'm just a dude.
Tell us about because okay, I was there when this happened, and I was like, oh dang, like that's pretty crazy, but you went to Atlanta.
Yes.
Okay. So he watched Jake Paul and Ben Askren. Was it Ben Askren?
Yeah.
So Trevor won a giveaway to go watch the fight live in Atlanta. Is it Mercedes Stadium, right?
Yeah, Mercedes-Benz. Yeah.
So he got to go. So we were at work, and he was like checking his emails.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh my God. And he like slammed his phone down on the table. And I was like, what? And he's like, dude, he's like, I think I won the giveaway. And I was like, no way. So he and his buddy Devin got to go. And I think you saw like Delfimo was like off like somewhere. You saw him from afar.
Yeah. Saw Teofimo.
You got to meet, you met Antonio Tarver and actually talked with him for a good minute. And like, you even like threw like you threw some punches and he like held up, he did the whole like, let me see what you got type of thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, bro. I watched that dude like with Roy Jones Jr. and you saw him in the flesh. Like, but you said he was like super nice too, right? He was just like,
oh yeah, dude. I was like, I got there and then Teofimo Lopez was like he was down a little bit below me and he came up and was like talking to all of us. We all had to say hi to him and wave to him because I think he was trying to fight on Triller when Triller was alive. R.I.P. Triller also.
Oh, that
dead in the water.
Dark times. Dark times.
But he was fighting on Triller later, but that never happened. He got his fight rescheduled 6 times with Cambosos until he got in the zone. But here we are. But Antonio Tarver, I was in the lobby and I look over and I see him and I was like, he looks so familiar. I was like, who is that? I'm like, my brain's like racking. I'm like, who is that? I'm like, and I heard someone say Tarver and I went, Antonio Tarver. And I said, that's who it is. So I went over and I talked to him and stuff like that. And we like, he's like, sit down. And he's like, we sat down in the lobby. We're just like chatting it up and stuff like that. This is all during COVID also. It's like 2021.
Yeah.
Like we're like lockdown was like kind of arising and stuff like that. Cause like the hotel was still being built and we had like get COVID tests before we went in there and stuff like that too. So that's why I think everyone was more chill to like be around and stuff like that. But yeah, I remember chilling with him and he's like, I was like, yeah, I box too and stuff like that. And he was like, oh, let me see. So he had like the hand pads and I did like the hand pads and he was like, okay. He's like, okay. He's like, I like what I see. He's like, where do you like train at? And I was like, at that point, I was still training by myself at home.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I train myself and stuff like that. He's like, okay. He's like, you got skill. And he's like, you got skill. You got knowledge. You're not just throwing wild punches. You know how to be like straight with your punches and stuff like that. You know how to turn them over. And he's like, you got some like, you got like good, like a good, like foreground or a good base, I guess. A good base, like something like to stand on. I'm not coming in like not learn, like teaching myself, but teaching myself like with complete bad habits.
Gotcha.
So it's like, I have basic knowledge. So that was super cool. Like I said, he was super humble. He was super nice and stuff like that, which I greatly appreciate.
Yeah. How is do you still like train and are you like in the gym constantly? Is that what you do still, or are you 400%?
I still do it. You can see.
Oh yeah, he has
the curvature.
Yeah. Okay.
You see the curvature. Yeah, it's there. I have gone my nose.
For those that can't see, he's been punched in the face a couple times.
Yeah, I've been punched in a couple of faces. My nose has a little bit of curvature.
He wears that battle scar with pride.
I do. But I train. So I train fighting and stuff like that. We're trying to get a fight.
Mm-hmm.
Got some stuff. Talking to some people, doing some cooking. We're trying to get something.
Yeah.
My coaches wants me to fight an influencer. because he thinks that I have more drive and more knowledge than a lot of these influencers do. He says he feels like a lot of these influencers don't care as much.
Oh, that's
because he's also
100%.
They're there for the checks, like
they're there for the checks. So he's like, dude, he's like, you're not. You're here for the love of it. And he's like, I think that you could go in. You don't have that entire background. Like, you don't have a 15-year amateur background. You're going in training by yourself for 2 or 3 years, and then now basically a year and a half with coaches.
Right.
And so, yeah, I do have 2 coaches at the UFC gym. I work with my coach Max. My coach Max is my main one.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing a lot of police academy stuff right now, so we're kind of looking at other coaches, but he's gonna be here till August.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm working with him still. Coaching. He has a background in amateur. He did some pro fights and stuff like that. Like he's been in the gym with Ryan Garcia. He's been in the gym with Boo Boo Andre.
He's the one that thought Andre was gonna be Benavidez. I just had to put that out there. He was the one. He was like, because he knows Boo Boo, obviously. He's like, he's seen him fight up close. So he's like, oh, I think you give Benavidez a good fight, which ended up not being the case. But anyway, I digress.
So I have him, and then I have my backup coach, Coach JD.
Yeah.
He has a lot of boxing years, being in a boxing gym growing up, or stuff like that, for football training and stuff like that. And he worked with like a pro fighter that I forgot the guy's name that he showed me and stuff like that. So he just has some background of that. Nothing, no crazy fighting experience. I get most of that stuff from Max.
Yeah.
What is a typical day look? Because obviously, like, you go to school for film, like, right? So
yeah.
How many days a week do you train? And then what does an average day look like for you? Like, how big is the workload balancing school, training, and also doing like your own film stuff outside of school? Because it's like, obviously you have like stuff like that are projects in class, but then if you want to go and do your own thing for, say, someone you meet in the gym, they're like, hey, come get some video of me training, or like, a Wayne or whatever the case is, or like something for George. Like, let's say George wants to reach out and he needs some more help. What does that look like for you typically?
Oh, I don't. It's normally during the day. I normally train and spar in the morning. I'll normally wake up and do all that stuff in the morning, about like 8 or 9 a.m. normally. And then after I do that for about to like 11, 12-ish, I'll come back here, and then I'll do most of my schoolwork, editing, videoing, whatever I have to do. It just kind of all changes. It's so just like, I don't have a set schedule. I live life kind of like by the seat of my pants, because it all depends on it depends on their schedule, depends on my schedule, depends on what I have coming up. They have their own stuff they're trying to do. So it low-key depends. Like, sometimes I'll train in the morning, sometimes I'm training midday, sometimes I'm training in the evening, sometimes I'm training super late at night, sometimes I'm training at super 5 a.m. in the morning. It just depends on what's happening and stuff like that. Because like I said, I have my school, so I'm doing all my projects, like my own like student projects. I'm helping with other people's projects. On top of I also work with George, doing video stuff for George, doing his fight documentaries. I work with an influencer girl, Nikki Haru. She's hopefully fighting on Misfits Boxing. I don't know if you know about Misfits Boxing or not. The DAZN's influencer fight league. Misfits. Yeah. So she's working on fighting on Misfits soon. So we're working on a lot of video content for her. And then on top of that, I'm an editor at Second State Studios for the Wade Concept, the Breakdown, and Vidal Riley. So I do a lot of editing for them also and stuff like that, and some video work for them, stuff like that, if it ever comes up. But I do.
And the NFL, what was that about? You posted about the NFL, or is that like under wraps? I don't want to okay, all right, never mind. You didn't hear that from me. Jerm, edit that out and post. All right, cool. But all right.
It's just stuff that's coming up. It's just stuff that's coming up.
What was it like the first time you got punched in the face? Like what is the
first time you sparred? I remember you told me the first time you sparred. Like
what was that like? The very first time you get hit and you're just like, okay.
It depends on where you get hit.
Okay.
I think it depends on where you get. So a lot of times I've been hit when I first started sparring, I was just super like this and stuff like that. So it'd be a lot of tempo stuff. And that stuff didn't, I don't know, it didn't really affect me as much. It was just kind of like, it would still hurt. And I would just be like, okay, like,
right. I'm
expecting this. Like, I know that like, this is what I have to do. Cause I know David for the longest time would always be like, dude, like, you're not getting punched in the face. You're not like, it's a whole different level, like ball game when you start getting punched in the face. Cause I would hit a bag for 2 years by myself. There's a difference, 100%. The face ones, face ones, those ones. Ooh. When I got hit in the nose with the jaw,
right.
Oh my! That was like a point where I was like, oh, because there's been some that like I got like the nose one bad. The nose one was bad. I was like, I felt it. I was like, donk, and I was like, oh, that didn't feel good. Or a jaw one, if you get hit straight in clean in the jaw, it's like the way your neck slapped, you're like, oh, no, it hurts, and it was super eye opening and stuff like that, and it helped me realize that like I had bad habits that drew from fighting or boxing on a bag for so long that I do like to droop my hands and stuff like that. And I was always working on like doing like kind of like working on like styles and stuff like that. And like that's one of my biggest things that Max always says. Max is always like, stop with that stupid style shit. And he's like, he'll like punch me or like hit me or something like that. And he'll be like, don't do that. He's like, don't. He's like, that's your influencer, like watching influencer fights like coming out of you and stuff like that. Like trying to like, you're already trying to do Philly shell, and it's like,
I was about to say the Philly shell, like just like stop, let's not.
He's like, you're not doing that, or like the one hand down, the one hand down. He's like, why? He's like, don't do that. He's like, hands up, not squared, shoulder back, hands up, and then he's like, work on doing the usual stuff. And he's like, once you get that down, then you can start embracing your styles. Right. And he's like, and I'm seeing you throw punches like overhand rights, dude. You're not even throwing a jab like completely correctly. He goes, you don't start throwing other punches. He's like, when I was in the gym, when I was in the amateur gyms doing pros, he's like, my coach would not let me throw a single other punch until my jab was perfect. And so I was rotating, and I'm throwing my jab, and I'm moving over.
Right.
He's like, because you throw those other punches off a jab. You don't throw those punches out of nowhere. You throw those other punches off a jab. So if you don't have a jab, why you get out of the ring?
What was that learning curve like when you first got to that gym and you got in touch with some coaches? What was it like those first couple weeks? And then when did you, okay, because I know you sparred, you went down to La Mirada and you sparred someone when you were there, like visiting Viola.
Yeah.
But between then and then when you started training at the gym, what was those first couple sessions like when they were like maybe working on like a bad habit you'd maybe developed because you were training by yourself?
Eye-opening. It was a difference of just like knowing, because like now it's like I'm hearing about what I'm doing wrong. I'm getting like an outsider perspective, because like I said, when I sparred, when I went down to visit La Mirada, it was a situation of I didn't have anyone. I'm just in there sparring a guy. So this guy could be doing stuff that's illegal. He could be throwing stuff that like, and like I don't know what his experience was. It was just kind of like to get that experience. But like now I'm with these coaches, and like I'm also trying to see what I'm doing wrong. But like I said, if I'm doing multiple things wrong, I'm not going to realize every single thing that I'm doing wrong. So having that extra pair of eyes from the outside watching me go in and stuff like that. So then once I come out of that fight, being like, yo, like work on this, tighten up this, work on like moving to your side more, work on spinning angles and stuff like that. And I'm seeing it now. Like I just did a sparring session on, was it Wednesday? Because I've had a cold this weekend. So I've been sparring. So I sparred Wednesday, and Wednesday I sparred these bunch of guys, and my coach Max came in, and Max was watching me, and he was like, I love what I'm seeing. And he's like, you had one guy that was like reaching for shots, and you're working on stepping back. And he's like, because right now we're trying to work on capitalizing my reach, because him and his friend that he knows from the amateurs also, Naj or something like that. Not Naj. She's a female professional fighter and stuff like that. And she's like 19 fights. And so I've been working with her too. And she's like, I don't know why you think that you have the Mexican style. She's like, why are you trying to brawl, and why are you trying to be on the inside? You have long arms that every fighter would love to have. And she's like, you need to be at your range, jabbing their head off. She's like, you need to condition your left hand to be able to throw jabs repeatedly. Over 3 minutes, you should be jabbing their head off. Be annoying. She's like, stick that shit in their face.
Yeah.
And so that's what we've been working on. It's like me just being rangy, me like making my range. In that last sparring session I did on Wednesday, I noticed it. I had this one shorter guy that he couldn't get close to me. He was flinging overhands trying to get to me. He was trying to jab his way on the inside, and I was just jabbing him. I'm starting to like basically, instead of just basically getting the basic knowledge and like trying to fine tune it, it's now I'm starting to learn the advanced stuff and really elevating my boxing IQ, something that I couldn't do. But I'm reaching a point where like I hit my max by myself, the basics, and now we're taking it up a notch by leveling up my boxing IQ and really like understanding how to change angles, like how to fight different like different, like going to southpaw if I need to like change up a style to confuse an opponent, learning how to feint.
Yeah.
Learning how to fight like on the inside if I need to, but also trying to work on staying backward and using my jab. It's like those different things. It's like it's leveling up my boxing IQ, which is making me smarter in the ring. And then also when I watch fights and I'm videoing, it makes it so much easier for me.
True. Thanks. She said you were using too much Mexican style.
Like, yeah, I mean, you noticed it, that one spar that I showed.
I was gonna say that makes sense.
Like,
you hang out with me too much, and we're always telling you all this like the Canelo like school of thought, like just Eddie Reynoso. So, but I mean, no, because Trevor's tall. Trevor's like, are you like 6'1"?
6'1".
Yeah, he's 6'1". He's lanky.
Yeah.
You know,
it's interesting. You know that your coaches tell you that, because I remember watching. This is what 2011. It's Bernard Hopkins versus Jean Pascal. And Bernard Hopkins, obviously, but I mean, at that time he was 46, but he comes from a like long amateur background, and and then he went to jail for a while, but he's been doing it for so long. And I remember in that fight, he just jabbed Jean Pascal to death. And Max Kellerman, remember, he said there's a difference between the guys who've done it for a long time and have stayed active and the guys who haven't. And he said, and the way you can tell is the jab. The guys who throw the jab almost like it's second nature, and they're just, those guys, to them, it's muscle memory. And the guys who don't, the guys who can't get into fights, and we're all yelling for them to get into the jab, there's no muscle memory because they haven't done it. So it's interesting you said that, because that took me back all the way to like Max Kellerman saying that in 2011, because it's so true. You see these guys who have no experience in doing the basic things, and you'll see it in, Triple G had a bunch of these where this guy had such an extensive amateur background that he would go in there and his jab was just, it was almost like on automatic. So it's interesting that that's what they tell you, because it's so evident when you're watching a fight who's done it a long time, who has the experience, who's not just having a camp, because there's these fighters that don't train at all unless they're in a camp, and the guys that are just every day, they're living it, they're breathing it, they're throwing punches even if there is no fight set yet. They're just constantly in the craft and constantly just bettering their craft. Floyd was like super known for that, just constantly working, constantly this idea of just, you're always perfecting your craft. Is that, because then the other side is the Julio Cesar Chavez Juniors of the world, who are crazy, who don't care, who don't put in the work. And you can tell too, where there's talent, and there's enough talent in there to make you believe there's something there. Adrian Broner, another one. There's enough talent there that makes you believe. And really the knock is always, man, if you had what Floyd had, Adrian Broner would be the best ever.
Dude.
If Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. had like 10% of the drive of his dad, he'd be amazing. How much of that, like how much of the drive to just constantly every day perfect your craft is mental, and how much of it is physical in what you've seen?
I feel like it's mental. I feel like the hard work, I think, will always outweigh the talent.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like you can be talented with your skill, but if you're not hardworking towards stuff and like you're not determined on just perfecting everything, it's like a hard worker can easily overcome someone that's talented.
Yeah.
Because the talent, I think being talented also like gives you the idea that you can be lazy. It's like, oh, I'm already talented. It's like, oh, do I really need to like work as hard or something like that? Do I really need to go as hard? When someone's in the gym being like, I'm doing this because I love it and I want to improve and be the best that I possibly can be. And that's going to take me working as hard as I possibly can in training every day.
Yeah.
And so that's just them being hardworking. So I just think that, hardworking is always going to outplay it. And then back to like you made the comment about the jab and stuff like that. Yeah. As a coach in the UK that I follow on Instagram, take tip boxes from, he was doing like a seminar for all of his fighters in the gym. And they're like, you can win a fight with the jab.
Yeah.
He's like, a jab will take you around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Having a good jab will take you around the world. And like, for example, like when I watch Vidal Riley, the boxer I edit for, I watch him fight and stuff like that. He might not be jabbing all the time, but his jab hand is always moving. It's always moving. It's always like halfway out, halfway in. He'll be like full jab. He's always moving it. So even it's like, you're always being like, oh, is he going to throw that jab? Is he going to throw that jab? Yeah. It's like, oh, he's feinting. Oh, no, he's not
going to be a feint. Exactly.
Like,
a body jab.
Always throwing it. And that's just conditioning. Like keeping that hand there, it's always moving instead of you being like this and like kind of moving like this. It's you just always being out here being like, oh, feint, jab, and then like repeatedly. That's just all comes down to like cardio and just conditioning that you got to have in that arm.
Yeah.
Well, you have this, I think, locked and loaded, ready to unload this whenever you want to.
Dude, that's like, I mean, you hear stories about like Belichick, right? Or Brady, or I mean, a lot of these guys, Kobe, for example, like whenever they have some kind of like milestone win, they're just like, yeah, I'll take a week off maybe. And then like back at it, like back in the gym or like back like on my own little routine, you know, or like Belichick was like, oh, we played the Super Bowl. So we're already behind for like next season. It's like, dude, you're playing in the Super Bowl. Like, you know, take a break. But they're like, oh yeah, I've already got to work on the off season, drafting players, like free agents. And it's like, but yeah, that's crazy about Broner, dude. Because Broner, it's like, I remember when he was like hot. He was when he beat like Paulie Malignaggi. He was like in his early 20s.
The Candy
and
Man.
Then dude, Maidana like just crushed him, and I was like, was that supposed to happen? Because this guy was like, they were saying that like, oh, the second coming of Floyd. Like this guy's got all the attributes, all the skills, like just
yeah. I think
how do you guys feel about him fighting?
Who?
Adrian Broner is still trying to fight. He's still trying to get fights.
That ship has sailed.
I think, you know, fighters, I've always said this, fighters and rappers, I never believe them when they say they retire because there's always tricks to cash. And with Broner, I think that's the place he's at. I think it's one of the biggest disservices and insults for Floyd is saying anybody's the next Floyd. Because I think because so many people don't like him, and I think I'm one of the few people that like him in my circle, because you know everyone just hates Floyd, and I've always loved Floyd, but a lot of it is just the fact that there's no Google image of an overweight Floyd. It just doesn't exist.
He still trains every day. There's still footage all the time of him still hitting pads. What's like, he's not fighting. Why do you still feel the need to hit pads?
Yeah. It's like
he's just always working.
Dude, it's all he knows, man. You know, like,
and I think
it's the love. It's the love.
Yes, yeah. And I think
it shouldn't feel like homework to. I mean, I'm not even fighting, and it's like I still go and do it 6 days a week.
Right.
It's like imagine if I was a fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I'm doing this, I'm not even a fighter. It's like, dude, these fighters should be doing it more than I am, or be like more loved for it.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing. That's what their money's coming from. It's like, it should be a love. You should be like, once your fight's done, maybe take like a few days, but then be like, back to work. You take your time off from 9 to 5. You go back to work.
Or even when you're taking off work, you know, because I remember I would tell my sister, because she was like, man, like, how come he just always looks ready? And I told her, I'm like the difference between Floyd and everybody else, and obviously in that era, was every other fighter goes into camp needing to lose weight. And that's object number one. I got to make weight. So you're already behind because you're going in there, I got to drop 10, 15, 20, whatever. Floyd's going in there at weight. He's in fighting weight already. So while you're trying to make weight, Floyd is eating KFC. He's eating McDonald's. He's waking up at 2 a.m. He's running. He's laughing. And he can enter all these mind games because he's not worried about making weight. He's made it. And so, and it's why you'll hear a lot of these fighters be like, man, that was a tough camp. And a lot of the times is the weight. The weight was the tough part. And you see, like Ryan Garcia versus Tank, he signs this like crazy, like clause, and he shows up and you're like, dude, this guy looks done. The fight hasn't even started and you're already like, oh man, there's no way. And I think that kind of mentality, that the mentality that Floyd had is unmatched. Because not even Canelo has it. Not even that discipline. Canelo doesn't have that discipline to stay away from like alcohol. And I'm gonna go to the club, but I'm not gonna put anything in my body that's gonna affect me. And I think that requires like such a different level of discipline and love for the craft. Yeah, because it's not like Floyd is a choir boy. It's not like he was like going to church on Sundays and like, oh no, I'm not around it. Like the dude like opened up a strip club. So he's in the party scene. It's just he just refuses to like succumb to whatever is put in front of him, because to him the main thing is the main thing.
That's why I think that's one of the big reasons why he still does these exhibition fights. It's because he loves the sport that much. Even though they're like there's no winner. Dude, right. He's just in there still showing his skill. He's still in there doing what he loves. That's what it comes down to. He's just doing what he's passionate about. So we can all knock him for doing these exhibitions. Oh, why are you doing another one? Why are we watching another one with no winner? It's like, dude, he doesn't care about any of our opinions. He's just like, I get to go in there and do what I love.
Yeah.
The only guy I think that is on that is probably Manny Pacquiao. Even though he does like the politician thing, but it's like that guy, like I don't think I've ever seen him like chunky either. Like he's always like yoked and like ready to go. And I'm like, when you hear about his training, he'd do like
but mentally though, there is a different. There's been a different Manny mentally.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. Like obviously he lives clean and he like cared about the craft, but I think even mentality wise, it's Floyd is.
I don't think Floyd's ever changed it.
Was at a different level. I think it's why when he says he's the best ever, I don't cringe. I don't agree. But I'm like, well, I mean, I don't know. Like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Although, I mean, I think pound for pound, Pacquiao was better because Pacquiao did more, obviously. But it's why, like, I don't think it's like this ridiculous thing, because it's like, well, I mean, I don't know, maybe. And it's why, and it's different with Floyd. Yeah, I think it's so different. So whenever like Shakur Stevenson, who retired, we're waiting for him to retire, says like, oh, I want to be like Floyd. And it's like,
no, you don't.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up.
He's an interesting dude.
Yeah.
Dude,
he retires off that.
We talked about some of the last one where like, dude, this is so, because his tweet was like, oh, I want to help prepare the next generation. We're like, you are the next generation. What are you talking about? Like, that doesn't make any sense, dude. Like,
he's 26.
He's on the next one.
Yeah, and he was like, he's like, I'm talking about I'm still gonna train. We're like, so you're telling me you're probably still gonna fight then?
I'm gonna be in the gym forever. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if she'd be retiring on that last performance that you got
Oh,
ridiculed by everyone in the boxing scene for having that fight.
He looks so bad. He looks so bad. And David, David knows I've been on Shakur Stevenson's like corner. And even I was like, dang, he looked
Like that was not a good look. Yeah.
that was awful.
Well, he said his claim was if you guys think that what he was doing in the ring was running, you don't know boxing. That's what his statement was.
My thing was like, dude, because didn't he like injure his hand or something?
Yeah, but he didn't want to say that.
That's what I'm saying. I was pissed because I'm like, dude, if you injured your hand, just say you injured your hand. I'll feel better knowing that you gave that performance because like you couldn't box to your full ability because of like an injury. That would make sense. But if you were in there like full strength, like you said, and that's what you did, I'm like, that was pretty whack. Like, come on, dude. Like, I didn't pay to watch that. You know what I mean? So.
Well, it was free. Nobody had to pay.
Yeah. But then he's also there. He's there with like Crawford and like Andre Ward, and I'm like, that's what you did, bro. Come on.
But I think one of the
Crawford, the man that's going to fight Canelo next.
You really think so? You think that's what's happening?
Oh, here we go.
Because that's the like rumor, right? The rumor on the street is
there's so much talking about it. I feel like they're just building up to it. I feel like they're gonna do it. I feel like there's not the way they're talking. I think that they don't want to just make the fight now. They want to build up to it. I think they want to add some history to it. So by having the talk and stuff like that, and like having a slower build up to it, I think that we're gonna see the fight.
Wait,
Crawford won't shut up about it now.
Charlo and Crawford, or they're building up to Benavidez, or they're building up to Crawford?
No, to Crawford.
I feel like they're gonna build up to. I feel like they're building up to Crawford.
Oh.
I'll
watch it, but
am I wrong to say I just have no interest in watching that? Like, obviously, I'm gonna watch it. I'll give Canelo my money, but
I'll give Canelo my money. Yeah.
Well, what's your reason for it though? Just because of how much he's going to be coming up in weight? Because that's gonna be
it's the built-in criticism no matter what happens. Like it's just,
I just feel like it's one of those fights that sounds like awesome on paper, and when you talk about them, you're like, oh man, but and then you forget biology, you forget that like, there's weight classes for a reason, and Crawford is an amazing fighter. But biology is real. Science is a real thing.
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm not expecting him to not believe in himself because that's not what fighters do.
Right.
But it's like, man, like if they get in the ring and then Canelo just like runs through him, much like Triple G ran through Kell Brook. And even though Kell Brook
even fits.
Yeah, and Kell Brook, I think in many cases put the blueprint out on how to beat Triple G. Triple G like tore his entire eye socket. Like Kell Brook was never the same after that. And I think like, well, is that what we want to see? Is that like, because Canelo does it, they're like, well, yeah, I mean, he was like, look how many, he came up all that weight. Like, what if Canelo would have gone down? He would have never gone down. I just thought there's no winner there for Crawford or Canelo.
I see your argument.
Neither guy wins. Neither guy wins. So it's why all I see on social media is just people that were like, at first, everyone was like, dude, why are we seeing this fight? It's weight categories for a reason. But I feel like as they're like talking about it, everyone's kind of, the noise is starting to, people are kind of being like, well, they're both really good boxers. It's be kind of like a huge like boxing fight that we have. But like, I understand the biology of the thing.
Yeah. I think like what Germ said, it's like, I don't really want it, but I'll watch it. And they're at the point where they're like, I'll watch it. So they're like, sure, if you make it, we'll watch it. But
but I agree with Trevor because I've seen a lot of the like, I don't know, these two guys top of their games, and it's just like, for real, like, is this? I want to see him, but I want to see Benavidez. That's what I want.
Me too. No, me too. Yeah.
That's.
I'm also curious. Benavidez and Crawford. There's been no fight. There's been no fight announcements yet for any of them. So like, what's going on behind the scenes?
The original plan bro, it's February, bruh. And then okay, I'm just bro. I commented on one of Canelo's pictures. I was like, dude, who are you fighting? Nay, please.
That's what I'm saying.
Tell
Okay,
us.
so they might have been looking for like Charlo or something like that, and maybe they decided they're looking toward Crawford. I don't know, because I'm like, dude, I feel like we should have gone something at this point, anything.
Bro.
The original
like, what's
plan
going on back there
for us was to have you on when Canelo made an announcement, and so this is like weeks ago. So we're like, yeah, by the end of January, like we'll have a fight, and then like it's February. It's about to be February 6th, and we're like,
so what was it like? I think since December. So we'll end the pod, and right before we end the pod, we do like this like final thoughts segment, and it's like whatever, it doesn't have to, it can be whatever you want.
Yeah.
Lately, I've been ending it on the Lakers. That's been like my final thought, but. Yeah. The last since December, we've been like, so Canelo hasn't said anything, huh? That's been since December.
Yeah.
We're in February. This is February 5th.
And then, yeah.
It's crazy. And
then we'll see like his stories for like his drinks. I'm like, yeah, I get it. I'll try your drinks. But when are you fighting, bro? Like, I want to enjoy the drink during a fight. I'll have a Jamaica, like, when you're beating that ass. You know what I mean? But I don't know.
So much money to be a fly on the wall that discussion room. I want to see what is being said. Like, what are their reasons? What are their arguments for like choosing? Because they have to, like, they were like saying that like they came out and they're like, oh, these PBC deals, but like there's now like I just think they're going back and forth. I think they probably had maybe the Charlo fight was supposed to be made, and then everyone's like, oh, maybe they're like, oh, maybe Benavidez now because everyone's giving him shit to fight Benavidez.
Yeah.
But now Crawford's getting noise. Crawford's getting noise now. So they're like, oh, maybe we should just do it now instead of letting it later.
Yeah.
Because like, what if Crawford has a bad performance? What if Crawford gets schooled by Boots or like gets schooled by someone or something like that? It's like, oh, that fight's dead in the water. It's like, or should we just make that fight now?
Because I think that's I was thinking that the other day. I'm like, what if they floated out the Charlo thing? And everybody was like, get the hell out of here with that. What are you talking about? And they're like, okay, no, not Charlo.
I was going to say, let's put out some feelers, and based on the backlash, we'll go through with the fight or not. And we were like, absolutely nobody wants to see that fight. Like, we're all stupider because you suggested that fight to us. Like that's, and it's like, they're like, well, you know what? Yeah, we're not going to do a Charlo fight.
Trevor, how much have you seen on the boxing business side of it? Like, how much of it have you witnessed?
Not that much.
Not that much. Okay.
Not that much. I've heard of like some of George's stuff. Like, I remember when like George said that there was like the most I think I've heard was that like George, one day I was there and he said like, oh, tomorrow like match room and I think Top Rank guys. So people were coming to like see some of the fighters at knockouts and stuff like that. And he's like, I got to put on a show and sparring tomorrow to like hopefully get a fight with one of them and stuff like that. And then he was asking me, he was like, what's your opinion about if I got a contract from both, which one should I do? And I was like, ooh, that's an interesting discussion. If I had to choose between Top Rank or Matchroom, I was like, what would I choose? And I was like, that's like the farthest thing I've gone. It's kind of like us going back and forth about which one I would recommend.
Did I say Matchroom? Jermo, I would have said Matchroom.
In the United States, Top Rank.
Top Rank,
especially because he's of Mexican descent, and Top Rank knows how to market those guys.
Market to the Mexican fans. Yeah.
That's what I was. That's what I said. I was like, I just feel like if you want to stay in the U.S., I just feel like Top Rank's the way to go.
Yeah, especially because
But I feel like Matchroom was better opposition.
Yeah, I think Matchroom gets you on TV faster because the zone and stuff like that. But I think because he's willing to do like documentary stuff and he's willing to get on like social media and do stuff like that, I think Top Rank would be perfect because that's one of Bob Arum's biggest beef with fighters is when they don't want to promote themselves and they don't want to do their end of the bargain to kind of sell these fights. And it's something that wouldn't happen with him, And I think that's why I would pick Top Rank because, and I love Eddie Hearn, but
that was literally my only thing. I was like, I love Eddie.
Eddie Hearn.
Yeah.
Just want to hang out with Eddie.
Yeah, that's it, dude.
I mean, either way, they're both. I think they both have their benefits.
Yeah.
There's not one side that's better than the other. They both have their benefits depending on like how you take it in the big way.
And the
Hey,
goal.
so did
he
you
got top ranked.
guys?
Yeah.
Did you guys see? I haven't even looked into it, so I don't know. But Tyson Fury got cut in sparring. Have you guys seen pictures? Is that a thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say, what if they faked it?
It's a bad cut.
He released the pictures today.
It was like right here.
Yeah. It was really bad.
I was gonna say, what if they faked the cut because like the fight had no hype and it was gonna be in like 2 weeks? You know.
Well, they already released the update. It's May 18th.
Right, May 18th. Yeah.
The rescheduled fight.
Yeah.
I gotta give credit.
I scrolled past the video of like when the cut happened, and I was like, "Oh, I'll watch that later." But then I was like, "Oh, they got a new date," because I remember Germ was like, "Oh, that fight's like on the 17th," and I'm like, "I haven't heard anything about it. Like, nothing, no press conference, no smack talk." And then, okay, all right.
Okay, but Tyson, I don't know. No, his cut, and I gotta give credit. The Saudi Arabia is putting on like. I watched the MMA fighting interview with I don't know how you say his name. I don't want to butcher it. The head Saudi guy. He was like, oh, like we already have like May 18th. It's already done. We already have a new date book. Like, he was on it. That fight ended. He's like, new date. He wanted no time for like to sit there and negotiate and have something happen. Yeah. He's like, May 18th. He was on it.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that I'm pro the Saudi fights because they haven't had a time and I can watch them during the day on Saturdays. So typically. So,
I know, but we're gonna get to a point.
I always miss the fights, dude.
I know, but there's a point where it's like, dude, if they're all the way over there, it's like I'm never gonna be able to go to like a big one like that. I have to get I've got to like pop off of my video stuff to be able to like, get flown out there to like.
Because like I just like coming home from work on Saturday and then it's like, oh, Usyk's fighting, cool, and then it's like, and then I can go and like do my thing, but.
That's valid. I see your point.
That's lazy.
But also, it's like it's also like the fans. The fans aren't there. You're not getting any fan base or hype. The Day of Reckoning was a sick event. I watched the event. It was a sick card. It was a sick event. But it was dead in that arena. It was dead. There was no one in the arena. It's just because no one can pay to go out to Saudi. People aren't going to fly out there all the time. It's just all it is just big stars going out there to go sit there and be like, oh, Ronaldo's watching the fight. It's like, well, cool. But it's like,
that's your boy, Jim. That's your boy, Ronaldo.
Where's the fans?
Happy birthday,
Ronaldo.
Yelling? It's his birthday today.
It's his birthday, really?
Happy birthday, yeah.
Shout out to him, dude. What's up?
So it's like,
I'll go to Saudi Arabia and watch the fight. I can blend in, I'll grow up the beard a little more,
But I agree with Trevor. I think those fights need to be where the fans are, because that's the whole point. The atmosphere and everything that goes into it.
It's like how are ticket gates doing? That's what I want to know for like events like that. It's like they're throwing money toward these events, but I'm like, you're not. That's like how much money are you actually making off these fights? Because I'm like, are you just relying on pay-per-views? Because you're not going to get ticket sales because no one's going to the fights.
Well, I'm sure it's one of those things where the Saudis just they
don't care. They don't want to have the fight there.
Yeah, I think they kind of just negotiate the purse. You get this much. Get this much.
Yeah. Better be the Pitbull. It's June 1st. Yeah.
They're like loaded. So you got to think, we just pay them.
The undercard. I love the undercard.
We get to watch the fight there.
I think the most hyped I think I've been for an undercard is that Bidaby versus Bivol undercard. The Matchroom 5 versus the Queensberry 5.
Yeah.
It's kind of a sick idea.
I'm excited for that fight too, because I think we're gonna learn a lot about Bivol. Because I'm gonna go to the grave believing if Canelo through the jab he wins that fight.
He would have won. If he was on the vegan diet, he would have won.
No vegan diet.
I was about to say the vegan diet.
It's the vegan diet.
Yeah. And he didn't look that great in his last fight. And I think, we're going to learn a lot about him.
Lyndon Arthur guy did absolutely nothing. There was no opposition there, Germ.
I know, but
it was a one-sided
Bivol, I know, but I don't know. I wasn't convinced by Bivol. I don't know. He was just lacking. I don't know. I left that fight feeling like, yeah, all right, whatever. And I get it. It was one sided, and I get it. He could have, a sack of potatoes. He would have probably been, but
I was like, Bibble couldn't like. I think that he was basically just like, I'm just here, man. I'm just gonna box and just box him up. He just, it didn't look like he was like really trying that much. To be honest, the guy was just this, not doing anything.
yeah, I know. I just feel like
I think Bibble even said, he's like, that was an easy fight. That was nothing.
I just feel like really top guys know how to carry another guy to a good fight. Where because Triple G started to do that, where he began to let guys hit him. And like it was like, oh, he's getting hit, and obviously it was all like, yeah. So, and I'm like, oh man, Bibble couldn't carry this bum to like showcase something more.
Who do you think's gonna win it? Do you think Bibble will get it? Originally, I had Bibble, but after that Bibby performance, I'm like, I don't know. I haven't decided yet for an early prediction.
Even though Bitterbiev's old, I think he like.
Yeah, I'd go with Better Beef. Yeah,
That's what I'm thinking.
I think, dude,
I like him in that fight a lot, just because he's been very active and his older guys need to stay even more active. He's 39, I think. So I just, and his style is very, if he fights the way he fought Callum Smith, obviously, because that was a different guy. If he's the bulldozer, then I don't know how Bivol gets him off of him, because it just that goes like
Bivol's not a power puncher.
No, not at all. Not at all.
So I'm like, I think that's the only way that you're gonna be able to stop that bulldozer that's coming towards you, bro. That's a tank. So I'm like, I don't know about that one. I think that Bibble's gonna be in for real trouble.
Yeah.
Because I think Bibby was like a bigger Canelo, basically.
Yes.
Mm.
He's just a bigger Canelo, so it's like
I agree.
Yeah. Do it for Canelo.
You're in for a treat.
Do it for Canelo. dude, oh my gosh.
What's the difference between, like, what's the difference that you've seen between the mentality of the fighter when they're sparring, or is there a difference when somebody is sparring and when someone's in a fight? Like, in terms of just like in the ring, obviously there's all the like other stuff that goes on the day of the fight, but like in terms of like, I'm gonna get in here to spar because it's still, someone's still throwing punches at me. I still have to like, care about this. I can still get hurt. And is there a difference between that and the mentality that you've seen from fighters when they actually step into a ring for an actual fight?
I think it depends on the fighter. I think there's some fighters that kind of go out there and are like, I'm just here for like the ring experience and just to have like that more just like fights under my belt. So they kind of just will go at it. They'll just duke it out just to get that like experience and just like taking punches with the headgear on, just taking punches and just kind of building like, I guess, durability in a way. They're kind of building a durability.
Yeah.
But then there are the fighters that I think are super technical that go in that are like, I got to focus on working on this. What did I do wrong in the last fight that I'm going to work on making sure that I incorporate into these spars? So when I go into a fight, I'm prepared. And I think that's the difference. I think that it's just like, who's here to brawl, who's here to duke it out, and who's here to like really like focus on the sweet science and like really like hone in on like the different like skills and stuff like that. I think that's what it mostly depends on.
Yeah.
But you'll see the guys that go in there wanting to brawl. You'll see the guys that go in there wanting to just to duke it out and take hits and stuff like that. And you'll see people that go in there that are like, oh, he's gone faster. Oh, he's gone more powerful. Oh, he knows how to like, he's switching stances more. It's like, oh, he knows how to he's using his jab way more. Oh, he's unloading that right hand now. He's unloading that right hand. And he's got some pop in that right hand. It's like, those are the different things that it's like, and I think that's the way you should be doing it. I don't think durability is the way to go with that. That could win you some fights, but I don't know if that's going to get you around the world and where you want to go. I mean, you got to hone in those skills.
Right.
Because Because I think, like, for example, it's like I was talking to one of my bosses for Second City Studios, and we were talking, like, because he was talking about an idea of, like, doing like a Jake Paul video and stuff like that. And I was like, he was like kind of like deciding on like what he wanted to go with it. And I was like, I think you got to go in that this guy, like, even though like he's probably never going to reach a world class level or a world championship, like he says, it's like at least he's going in now wanting to learn more techniques, and he's wanting to go in learning more. Like, that's why he brought in Danny Smith. That's why he brought in Larry. What's his name? Larry Wade. Like, why he's bringing in these guys for like more strength and conditioning boxing and like learning more skills wise. Because he felt like with BJ Flores, he was just like, oh, he just wanted to unload that all the time. And it's like, once it didn't work on Tommy, he was like, oh crap, I'm in a shit show right now.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, and I think that's where it comes down to. It's like, I think that brawling style can get you pretty far, because if you put a lot of pressure on a fighter and you stay snap, or you kind of break them down and stuff like that, brawling. But if someone knows how to use their jab right and keeps you off of them, it's like you're going to be stuck in a position where it's like, oh, I can't do anything.
Yeah.
And I think I think a great example of that is kind of Oscar Valdez versus Shakur Stevenson.
Yeah.
I feel like you consistently saw Oscar trying to get in there and like brawl and like throwing. I feel like he was throwing the same shots over and over again. And like I said, Shakur's just like jabbing, just keeping him off and slipping shots and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's like that's the thing. It's like you got to like kind of work on a different style choice. You didn't approach that fight the right way at all, Oscar. And I think that's why it was a one-sided beatdown towards Shakur, like with Shakur on Oscar.
I blame that loss on Eddie Reynoso. 100%. When you've been in the corner, what do you think is the most effective way to communicate to a fighter? Because I you sometimes see these trainers who are like giving out these like crazy like speeches, and you're like, bro, there's no way your fighter's listening to you. There's no way.
Right.
Nope. It's 100% the motto. Keep it simple, stupid.
Right? It's just like boom.
That's
boom,
what it has.
Boom,
that's
boom,
what it has
right?
to be.
Yeah.
I know, because I'm seeing it and I'm like, this is me from an outside perspective, and it's like a fighter might be able to advise, give you more opinion on it. But if you're sitting there and you just got your face pummeled in, you're not going to sit there and retain a paragraph statement being like, hey, like, this is kind of like, hey, this is what you got to work on. It's like, use your jab, like keep it minimum. It's like, you're going to hear those three words and be like, got it. Not like, because if I'm hearing a paragraph, I'm going to be sitting there being like, oh, dude, is this fight over yet? Oh my goodness, we still got to keep going and stuff like that. It's like you're gonna tune out.
Or the funny ones are where the guy's getting just outclassed, and the guy gets all mad at him. What are you doing? And I could just picture the guy be like, "Dude, why don't you get in there, man? Like, I'm the one getting my face beat."
But I feel like you got to be. I feel like you got to be like, not super like screaming at him, but I feel like you got to be like a little bit aggressive and be on your front foot when you're talking to your fighter in the corner.
For sure.
Because I feel like if you're too like caring and kind, I don't think it's going to affect them. And it's like, just don't be like, do better. Like, what the hell? Like, be like, dude, you need to use your jab. You're not using your jab enough. It needs to be stern,
I was gonna say,
but it needs to be straight to their face. And
for sure. But it can't be like a reprimanding. It's like,
I can't be reprimanding.
And that's where to me it's always funny, because they'll like start like lecturing the guy, and you're like, A, you don't have that much time, and
right.
There is no way this guy's listening to you while you're like yelling at him while the other guy's like punching his face off. And it's like, why? Like, just keep it super direct, like jab, move,
like 1 to 2
punching,
sentences top. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it's just these bullet points where they go in there, because there is no way anybody's like retaining, listening.
Yeah, I got all that. Yeah.
And understanding.
Especially being like, not even just like being like dazed. Like, if like, imagine you got like clipped in a fight or rocked. It's like sitting in that corner, dude, you're trying to clutch your stars back. You're like, okay. And it's like, no one's gonna be able to understand that. So it's like, I feel like you should sit down and just be like, hey, use your jab and change your angles.
Right.
Get around him. Get around him. Like, make it spin around. Make him work. Like, it's like cut ring off. Unload that right hand. Like, just keep it simple. Just lay it there. Be like, hey, this is what you gotta do.
When you were in the corner, how much of the crowd can you hear from there? Can you hear everything?
Yeah. It's pretty noticeable.
You see,
but here's the thing. So
okay.
This is what I think. It's pretty noticeable in my opinion, but also I wasn't fighting. But also when I spar at the UFC gym, depending on what room I'm sparring in, I'm either sparring in one of the small like red or blue rooms, which is like a room that's kind of closed off. Yeah. Or if those fight rooms are taken for jiu-jitsu training, I'm sparring in the octagon in the middle of the gym.
Oh,
which
man.
Sparring in the
octagon, like a big room. Yeah.
You got eyes.
Yeah, of course.
And I think, my opinion personally, I think it's beneficial.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
I think it's beneficial because I'm now finding myself tuning people out.
Yeah.
And I've heard fighters say that sometimes they go in there, they tune out the crowd. And I think that comes with just like the more experience you have and stuff like that. Because when I go, sometimes I'm sparring, it's dead empty in there. Like there's no one really, everyone's kind of doing their workout. But if I go, like if I'm sparring, like let's say 4 or 5 peak time for a gym, people are all in there like working out and stuff like that and like training and doing stuff. And you'll have like kids in there and stuff like that. And people are screaming and yelling. They're watching you spar and you'll hear comments being like, oh, look, he's getting beat up right now. Oh, he's like pushed up against the corner. And it's like, and so those things can be affecting, I think. But like now it's like, I kind of just go in there. I'm just kind of like, I'm just here, just doing what I need to do.
Yeah.
It's kind of like static noise. You're like, all right.
Kind of static noise.
I assume like a basketball player might have that similar effect, like when they're shooting like free throws, where it's like it's just them, and they're like everyone's just kind of like just bearing down on them with like noise. But it's like at some point, I bet they tune it out because like they hear it all the time when they're like playing games and stuff, you know. But
because you do see, like I've seen fights where the guy, you know, Floyd. I remember when Floyd fought what's his name? The dude that headbutt hit him?
Victor Ortiz.
And they're walking out. I remember Victor Ortiz comes out, and you could just tell he realized, like, I'm in a Mayweather pay-per-view. Like, this is huge.
Right.
You know, because the crowd is bigger, the roar, the cameras, you know, there's just like the big old, like, camera in front of him, and he's just walking, and he's just like, oh, and you could just see his face. His eyes are just like, oh man, this is big time. And then you see
kind of like deer in headlights kind of vibes. Like there's
and you see Floyd just another day in the office. We just hear.
I kind of got that vibe from
Unfazed.
Canelo and Triple G, the first fight. Like Canelo was fine, and Triple G was a little like. He's a little more tense than usual.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, it's his first like big fight, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, you saw that too. So it just in that one too. So it kind of gets to these like points where you need the crowd noise. You need to get used to fighting in front of people so that it doesn't affect you. So you're able to tune it out. But yeah, but there's levels to it. But yeah, so I definitely agree with you, Trevor, that I'm sure it helps so much to fight in front of like people as you move up because
I think that like star power I think not star power but like eyes watching the lights being on you 100% affecting and I feel like if you can incorporate that I think it would help as people like enter their fight or second fight and like having that like not having the stage fright or not letting that moment hit you as hard. I think no matter what the moment's going to hit you because the double the impact, the double the amount of numbers and stuff like that, but having that smaller audience watching you and stuff like that, even as you're sparring and making mistakes.
Yeah.
Because like that's the point is that you're sparring, you're learning how to make those mistakes so you don't make them in the ring. So it's like you're like those points, you're being more vulnerable in people's eyes. They're seeing like the person like that's not going into this fight trying to be perfect. It's the one that's going in, that's trying to work on and getting out their little bad habits, their little like issues, problems they have and stuff like that, stuff they got to work on. Because we're all still trying to learn, all trying to improve, all trying to get to the top.
You know which scenarios kind of like seem intense as I'm looking like from the outside, just because of like how small it is, I guess. But like the Ultimate Fighter shows, like when they fight, it's like your whole team is there watching you and your coach and Dana usually, and it's like it's a small enough audience that like you can hear them if they're like talking smack to you directly. Whereas like if it's a big fight, if you hear like crowd noise, it's just like a giant like conglomeration of like everybody. But I feel like if it's just them in a room, like for example, like when Conor McGregor was when he was first a coach on there, he was like always like he was kind of a bad coach, but he was like yelling at his fighters, and I'm just like, dang, it must suck to be those guys in there, and Conor's like screaming his head off because you're getting cooked, right? You're getting beat up, and it's like it's him. Bro. You know what I mean? Like you can hear him directly, or like if it's a big fight, it's like.
But I think it's also
someone yelled, you know.
It's also different because that audience is people that know what they're watching.
Yeah.
So their criticism is valid. Yeah, because
yeah.
It's one thing if somebody says like, "Oh man, that guy sucks." Like if I say that in the gym and they're like, "Okay, well, whatever."
Like, yeah.
But if Conor McGregor's like, "Dude, you suck, dude," like it holds more weight, and I think
that Conor McGregor tell you that too.
That environment is different because there's no fight like that. You're never fighting in a real fight. You're never fighting with just like fighters in the audience,
right? Watching you, yeah.
So I think it's.
I think the only situation I can think of that ever happening is the UFC when they have their fights at the Apex.
Oh yeah, those are small. Yeah.
Those are small, and I think only fighters or like certain people can get in there anyways. So at that point, yeah, basically the same thing as like you said, like someone saying like, "Oh, you suck" from the crowd, and it's one of your fellow fighters or like a guy that like works at the UFC.
Yeah.
Dude, have you seen like when you were ringside for Georgia's fight? Like, did you see like sweat flying off them when they were getting hit? Like, just like someone ate a shot, and you're like, "Oh, I heard it," like in person, because like it's something for us to hear on TV, but it's like. When you hear someone eat a shot and you're like, "Good God, that was like," you know.
No, there was one that I think George hit with a good overhand right, and I heard it, and I was like, that sounded like a gunshot. Oh, and the guy that he was in there was a dog, so like he took that, and I was like, goodness gracious, how he took that hit. I was like, wow, but it was like a. It's like you just hear that, it's like it echoes, dude. That's what I'm saying. Like there. And I've been hit with blood. I've been hit with sweat being ringside.
Dude, remember when
blood was judging? The blood was judging. The blood was when I was judging. I remember something splattered me, and I was like, "Oh, it's sweat." I remember I like rubbed my head. I went, and I was like, "That's not blood. Or that's not sweat. That's not sweat."
Dang, dude. I want to go watch a boxing fight, like in person. We almost went to one, and. I wish we had gone. Like it was the
one in Fresno, right? The one in Fresno.
It was in Fresno, and it was Mikey Garcia, and Sandro Martin. That was before. I think Mikey only had the one loss to Errol.
Oh, okay.
And then he fought Sandro Martin. It was in Fresno, and it was cheap. It was like $30 or something, like to go.
Yeah.
And we were like,
was that the one that he had the big layoff? Wasn't the one that they had the big layoff? Wasn't he gone for like out of the sport
he was gone for like
3
after Errol beat him, he took he didn't fight for a while, and then
that's what I thought. Yeah,
came back. But I wish I had gone, dude.
Because Mark Castro was on that card too. Because I wanted to go because of Mark Castro.
Mark Castro, that's right.
Is
he still undefeated? Is he still?
Yeah,
he is. Okay, he's cool. I like him.
When you have judged, how was that experience?
Dude, I love it. I would so love to judge a boxing fight. I like it.
Yeah.
It's low key nerve-wracking just because like the way that we did it was a little bit more of like it wasn't as professional. And the reason being is that like they didn't really have the judges put in a spot like where the crowd couldn't see you judging.
Oh, the crowd could see you? Gotcha. Okay.
And opposing teams.
How many rounds was it? This is Muay Thai, right?
When I judged? No, judging there was a Muay Thai fight that I judged on the but it was the influencer fight league cards. It was mostly boxing.
Okay.
They had one that was a Muay Thai. There was 2 influencers that like I guess they were gonna box it out, and they're like, hey, if you're not a you know what, it's like fight me in Muay Thai then. Let's see what your skills are there. So it's a different like element to it is what they wanted to do, and so they added that to it. But yeah, no, but it's like sitting there. It's like I like it because first of all, you just sit ringside, so that's automatically just a plus. You just sit ringside. Right. But then number 2, it's like you really get to like see the sport in a different view. Because you're not looking as a fan now, you're looking at it as like, oh, I have a job to do, and I have to like really like show that my boxing knowledge.
Right.
And so it's like I did my research, I like do everything I had to do to like be able to judge. And I remember like watching the fight and stuff like that, and I'm looking for like who's throwing more punches, who's ring generalship, who's showing more ring IQ, who's not getting hit, who has a good defense, who's not just like walking forward, just taking hits on hits. And stuff like that. It's like I'm looking for all those different things when I'm judging the fights and stuff like that. And I think it was super cool. But then you guys have the people that's like, I wish it like, because I think normally when they judge, they have a little table that's like no one's behind them and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the first one that I judged, I've judged two. The first one that I judged, they did it that way. They had us up against like a curtain, and we were like there at a table. So it's like as we're doing it, we would just like have our scorecards, and we would like write in the scorecards, and then we'd give them to the person, they tally them up, and then say the results.
Yeah.
And then, but the second time, I guess that the commission that was doing it was like, we don't want the judges all sitting together. So what they had us do is that they had us position one judge on like each of this, like not both besides the one side, but like one on each of the basically sides of the ring.
Of course, yeah.
So I was on this one girl's side that like, and so I was judging her fight. Yeah. And then I had people behind me. Dang. And I remember multiple times during the fight, some dad would be behind me. He'd look up and he'd be like, "That's so stupid. Why did you judge it that way?" And I would like start screaming.
Oh, they said something to you?
Yeah.
Dang.
Oh man, that's crazy.
And that's like hard because you're like, I'm not gonna start talking to him because it's like first of all I can't do that because I'm like judging the fight and stuff like that. Yeah. So it's like I'm hearing him say that. And I'm like, okay. So I'm just saying that I'm like at points, I'm like, oh, is someone gonna like try to like throw a fist or something like that? Because I was nervous at that point.
Yeah.
And I remember there was one time, so the girl that was fighting, it was her team, and she got completely dominated by the other girl. It was complete domination. She wasn't throwing punches. Her head was being thrown back. Her hands were like wide up in the air, and she's getting hit. And the girl was just like walking forward, and she's like defending and just like punching shots and like moving forward. So I gave all 3 rounds. Yeah. Well, one of the cornermen saw my card. It was like, "That's so bull crap." And I remember the fighter girl got down and went, "You seriously didn't give me the fight?" And I'm like, "How can I give you the fight? You didn't do anything." And she's like, "See, this is why we know the fight's rigged." And I just went, "Okay." Yeah. And I'm like, this is wild.
Like, I'm not even getting paid. Like, what do you mean it's rigged? Like, dude.
I was like, you're gonna sit there and tell me that you're gonna sit there and say that you won that fight. I'm like, you have to change your team up. If you genuinely think there's fights that you could go half and half, but there's some rounds I've had rounds where like I'm watching a boxing fight online or like watch it here like streaming, and I'll be like, oh, that's a 50-50 round. Like you can give it to you depending on what you're looking for.
Yeah, of course.
That's 100% thing. And so it's like those are things. But this one was pretty one-sided. That it's like if your coach is sitting there telling you, or someone in your corner is telling you won that fight, okay, you really need to have like a reevaluation of your team because there's no shot you're going to improve at this point.
Get a better coach.
She's like Broner after Pacquiao. She's like, everyone knows I beat that boy. And it's like, bro, stop. Like, what do you like?
For the streets.
It's like
for the streets.
The streets.
For example, it's like, like I know David's a fat hater of Ryan, but at least Ryan owned up that he was losing the fight, and he also said before that he was going. In the locker room, he was saying that he was going to lose the fight. You hear about that?
I did see that. Yeah.
Oh, the tank.
He had a podcast, and he said that in the back, he said he was like he didn't have a feeling he was going to win. He was going into this fight just being like, I'm going to lose. He was like he knew because of the weight cut. He knew that like he's just like I'm not going to win this fight.
That's
but
crazy.
Like he said he did it because he wanted to do it for the sport of boxing. He wanted to like put the big names together. He wanted to make the big fights happen. And so but he's like I knew I was going to lose.
Yeah. Yeah. Judging
judging's the thing. It's so sick. It's
I want to get into that. That's what I want to do. That's just amazing.
Say, let me ask you guys, because you guys, I mean, y'all watch boxing here, but when you guys sit and watch at home, like, when you guys score fights, do you just keep track of them in your head, or do you guys have like a little notepad just to like label the round?
I write it on my phone.
You write? Oh, your phone. Okay.
So I open up.
Or I texted to David.
That's who you know. I was about to say.
Or
Like,
I tweet it. Actually, I tweet it.
I was about to say you do quit. Okay, yeah.
I'll tweet it. Yeah.
Because I'll check Twitter for like
yeah,
your comments on it. I'm like, oh, like Germ's watching the fight. Okay, that makes sense.
Close? Am I pretty close to Germs from what you've seen? If you do the comparison, our scorecard's pretty close. From what
I would think so. Yeah, I mean, neither of you have ever given me a decision where you were like, where I was like, yeah, that was a bad take.
Like what the hell were you watching? Yeah,
right. There's never been one like that.
Yeah,
for sure. You know,
I always check my cards with Sammy, with David's brother. Yeah. So I'll text me and him will text each other, and I'm like, hey, how'd you score that? And he'd be like, oh, I had it, whatever. And we typically have very similar cards, which always makes you okay. I
like, I know what crazy.
I know what I'm watching. I have an eye for this.
Hey,
but
I'm just glad that like we actually can score fights correctly, because there's some fights I look at a judge and I'm like, how the heck did you get that?
Yeah, it's so crazy how often that happens. It's like, what fight were you watching? Like, where was I that you scored it?
Yeah, like we didn't watch the same third round, bro. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it baffles me how often that happens, because it does make you question like a lot of the integrity stuff, because it's just unless you are the round hadn't even started, you made up your mind who you were going to give this to. There's no other explanation, because either you don't know boxing and you've never watched boxing, or somebody slipped you a check and just because there's no other way. There's no other explanation. Either you're incompetent or you're corrupt. It's either or. And
it's like if you watch enough boxing, or even just like look up like the guidelines and how to score, it's like it's not like, you'll know when someone's winning. Like, 50-50 rounds, if it's like a close fight, it's like,
it's different.
Depending on what you're looking for, it's like that's all right. But if you're looking at a fight and you're like, oh, that round he dominated, like it was pretty obvious, and like these elements, and like this is where he did good, I don't know how you can give it to another person and be like, oh, this guy had it. It's like because this is where I actually want to ask you guys this question, because you guys have watched boxing for so long. And I know this is this is a take that we have in the influencer boxing world right now, that this is what the man Taylor wants to do for Misfits. And he says that he could see it in the future maybe being imported into boxing, is the idea of open scoring. So basically the rounds are like announced, like who's winning the fight, like at the point. So the fighters know as the fight's going on who's winning the fight. So it's basically kind of like watching basketball and you see the score on the board. Now we're seeing who's winning the fights as the fights go on. Because all we see the unofficial scorecards, but we don't see the actual scorecards. Do you think that should be added?
And some of the unofficial ones. Chris Mannix, stop doing those, man. You suck at those. God, every time I watch the zone, it's like Chris Mannix, like, dude, what are you like? You're there. How, like, what? Don't get me started with Chris Mannix. Anyway, I don't have a problem with that. My only reservation to something like that is you can run into the safety of the judge.
I was about to say, yeah.
And I think for that,
the safety gets jeopardized in the end, anyways, doesn't it? You still know who judged. You still know what cards. So the safety's still jeopardized at that point.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Someone might get
example, Tony Weeks. Tony Weeks, the guy that did the Rolly versus Barrosos.
Yeah.
Dude, he is getting slandered everywhere for that one. And there was another one that he did also that everyone was like, oh, that's a ref. Not a technically, that was a ref, not a judge.
Say, for the stoppage, right?
I got them confused. But but I think judges, scorecards get posted and stuff like that too, and you can see who is judging what.
Yeah,
my biggest gripe with it is the idea that like the suspense is gone. But also, I guess if you know that they're going to win the fight, I guess it doesn't matter.
My reservation also, it would be, it might change the way a fighter fights. Where if Like
say for adapt or change. Adapt
yeah, because say for example, you win the first 7, and you know that you can coast the rest of the way because even
you might be
true.
La Jolla and
like,
Trinidad.
Yeah, you win the first 7, and you know, okay, I just can't get knocked out. I can't get knocked out, and I can't go down a few rounds, and I'm good. So if I just run around,
so we'd have more
rounds,
we have more Shakurs in the boxing scene.
That would be my other pushback. The real pushback would be that, where you would get fights would be super interesting up until it's like a foregone conclusion.
Until someone sees like that they're a front runner. They're like, okay, I've won like this many. I can take it easy for a round or two, and then
because it just eliminates. Well, I guess it's part of the suspense. I guess it eliminates the suspense, but I think it alters the way the fight is fought because now you are truly in a position where if you bag 7 rounds and you just run, everybody will hate you, but you won the fight. And it just, that would be awful for the sport.
Yeah.
So I would be okay if we do entering but even then, maybe you do like the first 6 rounds live scoring.
I kind of how about the idea of like
you don't know until the end, because maybe you're up 6 and now the guy who's lost the first 6 knows, well, I got to step it up, and all of a sudden it becomes a very different fight. Maybe.
What about like putting out just like the unofficial scorecard, like one guy's unofficial, just to see like.
But they all suck.
I know, but just to kind of give the fighter an idea, like, oh, you thought he won that round? Like, I'm gonna,
because those are typically.
Or you do an open scoring for one judge's scorecard. You don't.
I was gonna say, yeah.
That might be.
That's a good alternate right there. Just like one of them, you're like, oh, okay.
What I want to see more in judging, this used to happen back in the day, but well before any of our times. But back in the day, it was accepted for a judge to rule a 9-9 round, and this typically happened when it's like it was even. It's a 50-50, and because typically now the 50-50 typically will go to the A side. So and which I don't know. I mean, I guess it is fair. The guy has earned or the fighter has earned the right, I guess. The benefit of the doubt. But sometimes it's like, dude, I don't know who won that. And I just wish they would bring back the 9-9. You know what? It's even. Super even. 9-9. That's what we're going with. Because
I've given draw rounds.
Okay. Oh, okay. I like that.
I don't think. Well, like, what's the harm? It's like you guys were evenly matched. I don't know who won that round. You guys both did good in different ways. It's like reward. Don't reward it to one guy and be like, oh, this guy's. I mean, also the influence of Biden is not. Our influence of boxing.
I've always thought it was like problematic that they
A side.
Yeah, I've always thought it was problematic that they're like
somebody has to win the round.
Right, somebody has to win it, and it's like, do they though? Like, I don't know. Like, what if they like that?
Okay, there's draws in any other sport.
Like the first round when people feel each other out, it's like that's a perfect time to throw out a 9-9 round. They're just both kind of duking it out from afar, a nice little jab here and there. It's like, dude, no one won that.
Or sometimes when you get like, I also not a big fan of the fact that 99% of the time, if you get dropped, it's a 10-8 round automatic, and it's like like the knockdown should matter a little bit, like because it's like if it's like a little like I don't know, you kind of like you hit somebody and it's like more like their footwork sucked in that position, so they fell, but you didn't really hurt them. Is that really 10-8? And I get it, like it's the standard, but it's like, man, like what if that guy comes back and has like a really great round? It's still, by and large, it's 10-8. And I wish that would be altered a little bit, where it's more accepted. Like, man, to get a 10-8, you really have to do something.
Right.
It really has to be like a knockdown where it was like, whoa, That was
Yeah.
That was good.
No, so you're saying like you wouldn't want to rule 10-8 for a flash knockdown?
No.
So imagine him with the jab and the guy like falls down, but then just gets up really quickly. It's like,
Yeah, because
that should count as a 10-8.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think so because it just 10-8 is a huge advantage. Like
It
that's
is.
I think
huge.
yeah, like you said, I could agree with that point, because if you think about a flash knockdown, it's like, do you know how many times there's been issues where a flash knockdown has been ruled a trip, or it was a trip that they ruled as a knockdown?
Yes.
Mm.
That's a good point.
It's like because there's like, I forgot what fight it was I just watched recently that I think someone got hit by it and the ref ruled it a knockdown, and they looked at the slow-mo afterward and they're like, that was a trip. But the ref ruled it a knockdown.
That's the whole point, dude.
10-8. That's the whole point. They just lost now because a trip accident happened that the ref just didn't notice.
Right. Yeah, I think that there has to be just more flexibility when it comes to scoring, because it just sometimes it's not as cut and dry than just 10-8 or 10-9. And sometimes it is 9-9. Sometimes it is, yeah, you did drop him, but the guy was still fine. He was still okay. It's not like you were able to like pounce on him. It was 10-9, and that's fine. And I think, but it's so structured in such a way that's almost like unheard of. Like I have yet to see in a professional setting a 9-9 round. And I'm like, why not? Like there should be like David said, like the first. I feel like most Canelo fights, the first 3 rounds should be 9-9.
Yeah,
just automatically. Because I'll be honest,
it's just feeling about.
Yeah,
same with Tank, right? Tank does the same thing.
Exactly. But it's like those first 3 rounds, and it's probably why I can't stand Mannix, because the first 3 rounds he'll give them to like the other guy. And it's like
he's giving them
like
out.
Nothing happened. He's like, I have Canelo down 3 rounds to none. And you're like, nothing has happened. Nothing. Absolutely nothing has happened for you to even like say that. And then the judges will give Canelo the 3 rounds. And it's the same thing. Like, wow, I don't know if he should bag those 3 rounds. Like nothing happened. He didn't do anything to.
That's how you get like crappy takes. Like, like when Canelo fought like Amir Khan, like those because Khan is like a shifty guy. He's fast, great boxer, IQ. Those first couple rounds, like Canelo's not doing much. He's feeling them out, and like to this day, I'll see people that are like, they'll show a highlight of the knockdown, and they're just like, oh, but keep in mind, Canelo was losing the fight up until that point. And it's like, was he though? Like they were doing okay. Like it's like Khan was out here like boxing his head off, and they're like, oh yeah, but like Khan won those first couple rounds, and it was like,
I think that's one of those fights where you see the
Canelo setting him up.
Not only that, but just the Canelo understanding the showmanship.
Yeah,
I need to sell this fight. People paid for this fight. I need to carry him up until at least a certain amount. And he gets him to the 7th, because it's like once they get to the 7th, it's like something flipped,
right?
And all of a sudden, like Canelo was there, and it was over.
Yeah,
and I think that's where you see like the showmanship of like, I need to carry you to this. I need to like make
there's some theatricality in there.
Yeah. And that fight, it always makes you laugh when people are like, oh, he was losing that fight. You're like, man, you've never seen a fight in your life, bro. So okay, whatever. He was losing the fight.
Another big thing too that I think about with the judging, that like since I've judged now, I have an opinion on it, is the idea of judging biasy with the crowd.
Yeah. Oh, the noise. Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
I think that if you let it take it into play, I think it will play. I think if you take it into play. But for me, I love boxing so much that I'm so just honed in on what's happening in the fight that I really am not kind of paying attention to what's going on around me. But I feel like people, like, if no one's like as honed in, I feel like that can easily take attention. Because I was watching a podcast with someone, and they're talking about, I forgot who it was. It was someone, and they were talking about a point they heard Jake make, and someone else that agreed with Jake, that judges shouldn't be ringside. that they should be sitting somewhere else.
I agree.
Watching the fight on a screen.
I heard about that. Yeah.
With no sound, no commentary.
Yeah.
With no sound, no commentary.
Yeah. I agree. But Max Kellerman used to say that. Max Kellerman used to say that that's the best way to do it. Because I remember he would say that he would whatever fight he covered, he would go rewatch it, and he would watch it on mute. And he said a lot of times, many times, like he found himself like being like, "Oh man, I was wrong about whatever
that round," or yeah.
And that's what I. That's
I've
what
heard a
I
lot of
do
people say
now.
that.
Yeah, like I've done that. Like I do that. Like I'll watch a fight, and I'll post like whatever it is, like on Twitter and stuff like that. But if I know I'm gonna like talk about it with David on the pod, I'll watch it a few more times, just like mute, and that way, like it's different. Like I remember I had that for the fight that like clearly I was like, oh man, like that made a difference was when Canelo fought
Billy Joe
Saunders. Yeah,
I remember.
I remember watching the fight live, feeling like, man, like Billy Joe Saunders is really giving Canelo a hard time. And then when I went back to watch it, I watched it like 3 times before we recorded. And every single time I was like, dude, like Canelo, like
he was fine.
It was, like it was okay the whole time. He was fine, but
I should go back and watch that fight on mute because I'm kind of curious because I thought the same thing as you. I thought Billy Joe was putting in work at the beginning. I think I told you that too, David.
Yeah, it's kind of like what he did with Khan. Not that like with Khan, he's a lot bigger than him, right? Obviously, but with Billy Joe, it's like
there's a lot of setups. There's a lot of
the setups. So he's
a lot
like
of traps that are being set throughout the fight. That when it finally gets to the point where he
let him get cozy in there,
and all of a sudden, because then when he ends it, and you watched it like with no sound, you're like, he's been doing this entire time. Like he was just laying the breadcrumbs to this.
But do you think that you would notice that if you watched it for the first time on mute?
No, because we were like, okay, the nerves.
No, because I'm a fan of Canelo.
I was stressed during that fight. I was I was so honed in.
I think if I wasn't a fan of Canelo, yes. But I think I watch Canelo Canelo's like another, like one of my favorite sports teams. So it's kind of different because there is like an emotional component to it.
Yeah.
That I can get out away from the emotions after the fact, after he's fought and everything. It's why I have such a big like Bivol, like he could beat Bivol. He shouldn't fight him again, but if he fights him again, it's why I'm so confident he can, because I've seen that fight, I think, more than any other Canelo fight, because it's like I want
to see that fight too.
I don't know if it's the vegan stuff. I don't know if like it was all the golf stuff.
Yeah.
Because I remember heading into that fight, David and I had a pot, and I told David, I don't know, man. Like he just doesn't look like he just doesn't look like Canelo. So, if it's another guy, then I think I could, but not Canelo. I'm too biased. I'll admit that.
Me too.
Because I'm like the vegan diet. I think. I mean, we won't know until he fights without the vegan diet.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people said he feels like they're seeing him look slower.
So is he still vegan now?
I don't think he is.
No, right?
But here's the thing. I remember when he fought Bivol, like we were worried about like his training. We're like, dude, I don't know, like. But it wasn't until when he fought Charlo, like the Jermel, me and Jerm were both like, yo, dude, like he looks a little more focused, and he looks like he's intentionally training, because people would always say that he was like when Crawford said he's afraid of black fighters, that he wouldn't fight black fighters. And so we're like, it's almost like Canelo was training angry
Yeah.
for that fight because he wanted to prove the doubters wrong. And he was like, that feeling wasn't there when he fought Bivol. When he fought Bivol, it was like, oh, he's training, but he's also playing golf a lot.
Yeah. It was like he's the
and
king.
with the fights now, it's like, it's almost like he's pissed that people that we doubted him back when he was fighting Bivol, and it's like, and he's like, oh, you thought I lost a step? Like, I'm gonna show you that I'm still that guy, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And now has black fighters lined up.
Yeah, now he's fighting nothing but black fighters now. Like,
I was about to say, hey, he's like, oh, he's like, you wanted it, you got it. He's hitting him with the glider. Like, are you guys not entertained? Like, you guys line up and I knock him down, dude.
He's at the top, and everyone just wants to just try to knock him down in any way they possibly can. Even if it's outrageously unreasonable, they're going to come for his neck no matter what. He's not going to win.
It's the joke. It's, like if he fights Benavidez and he beats him, it's like, well, he couldn't beat Bivol. And if he fights Bivol and beats him, it's like, well, he would have lost to Andre Ward had he fought Andre Ward. And well, he can't be Usyk. Well, he can't be. It's like he's in a no-win situation.
Oh yeah,
and it just and that's like,
and if he fights all these dudes, they're gonna be like, oh, but he wouldn't fight Bud, even though Bud agreed to fight him at his weight. And it's like,
and he beats everybody. It's like, dude. Yeah, but Floyd Mayweather still beat him when he was 21, so he sucks. And that's always gonna be the like.
Oh, Jose Cotto made him do the chicken dance when he was 19. Oh, and it's like dude,
it always gonna end with Floyd. But he couldn't be Floyd. And it's like, okay, all right.
Oh, but I still think he lost Triple G, but like both times, like the first two. Oh, come on, they were gonna be here all day arguing, like
for real.
No, but he was scared of Trout. He fought Mosey when he was too old, and it's like,
yeah, it's just
like that's not his fault. He like I said, you line him up, he'll fight him.
Never ending. Let's see. We're definitely going to have you on again. This isn't the last time. And now that you're here, you can bypass David.
I'm going straight to Germ now. You're not the middleman
how do
anymore.
People talk to his people?
I got your email now, so we're able to communicate. What stuff should we be watching? Like, promote your stuff so that we.
What's in the works for you, bro? Tell us.
Yeah,
what do you have on the horizon? Some prospects. Go ahead.
Prospects right now. What do we have coming up? Let's see.
Where can we find you? All of it.
You can find me on Instagram at Trevor Jaureguy. Trevor, your last name Jaureguy. Go follow me on there. I post everything that I'm doing. You'll see a mix of everything. Right now, what we have is that I was in talks to try to go to Vegas for George's fight. Wasn't in the cards because he's fighting on Thursday with all my classes and everything like that. So that wasn't in the cards. Really wanted to be out there for that one. But I know it's a huge moment for him. Besides that, I think when he comes back, I want to try doing his documentary about his health stuff. I really want to get into that. Working with Nikki Rue right now on her influencer fighting stuff. We're going to help start promoting her for her fight. We want to get her promoted out there. And then we're in talks for some fights. Hopefully I can get a fight pretty soon.
I was gonna say, weren't you gonna fight in Puerto Rico at some point or something? Like, I don't want to spill the beans, but I'm just, I
was supposed to fight in Miami. I had to fight
Miami. Okay, that's what it was. Okay, sorry, Puerto Rico. I love you, but
yeah, Puerto Rico. I wanted to go out for the Jake Paul fight and the Serrano fight. Okay. But we got some stuff cooking, so we'll see. Okay. It's coming soon. A lot of stuff I can't speak about yet. It's just
gotcha. Good.
NDAs, stuff like that. I can't speak about a lot of the stuff I'm doing right now.
What about YouTube? The documentary with George, all of that, right?
Which was about the inside the fighting mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go find that on George Acosta's LUU YouTube channel. Go watch that. It's a super cool documentary. And then he has another one, a smaller one that I did. I forgot what I called it. right now. But it's his last fight. It's his last fight. You can go watch that one.
Wasn't it the behind the scenes? The behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's behind the scenes of his fight stuff, his last fight and stuff like that. His last fight on his old promotion company, since he's moving on to his new one. Mm-hmm. So that's a cool one. I did a lot of stuff for that one. That one was fun to film too. That was a fun fight. That was the one I got to go sit in the corner for.
Nice.
So I did that one too. So yeah, go on LUU. But yeah, I appreciate you guys for having me on.
Of course, dude.
Greatly appreciate it. David, I'll see you later this month when I come back to Paso for a bit for spring break. And then
I'll probably see you. Dude, I'll probably see you because I'm going to LA twice this month too. So I'll probably see you. Maybe. I don't know. It'd be nice to get an in-person pod maybe with the three of us at some point. Just saying. So
I'd be down. You're
here late February, right? Late February, David? You'll be down here?
Yeah.
What weekend?
The 24th. Oh, is that when you're up here? Dang. Okay. All right.
Because the weekend before, guys, listen to my calendar. Because the weekend before, we're at UFC 298.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna see you guys. I'll be on that Volks fight in Anaheim.
Nice.
Oh, dang. Okay. Right on.
I'm excited for that. I'm excited to go see a UFC fight in person too.
Dang.
Not ringside. Not ringside this time. My goal is to make some connections there. My goal is to make some connections there. I'm gonna go to the weigh-in. I'm gonna go to the press conference. I want to go talk to some peeps. But we're going for my buddy's birthday. My buddy turned 21, so his dad's coming down and he's treating us all to the UFC 298 in Anaheim.
Sick.
Nice.
I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see that environment. That environment's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Nice.
But yeah, but I appreciate you guys having me on. I'm excited for some more.
Yeah, we'll definitely do this again.
We'll get it for the Canelo announcement, and we'll see. Like
whenever it decides to arrive, dude. I'm losing hope.
Who's right. We'll see if it's Jeremy with Benavidez, it's me with Bud, or if it's David with Charlo.
I'm stress eating. Do you guys see me eating that guancha earlier?
I am. Unfortunately, I think I'm going to be wrong. So,
dude,
I don't think he's fighting Benavidez. I hope I'm right, but I think I'm going to be wrong.
I know.
I think he likes trolling Benavidez. he likes pissing him off, I think. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Cool. So I will see you hopefully soon, David. 3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe.
Yes.
Trevor, it was a pleasure. And we'll do this again.
Yes.
Good luck on everything. Your stuff was sick, and hopefully when your fight gets announced, if it's local, I'm here locally. I live here, HP area. So I definitely will be there to, if it's local, I definitely be there to support and do that. Representing David. David, come on. It's not that far. You got to be here for that.
I'll go. Hey, come on, man.
David has to be there. If David's not there, there's a problem because David's been the one that's for the longest time. Like, dude, he's been my biggest supporter, but he's been my biggest hater at the same time. He's been both. I
had to keep him in check, bro. Like, I have to tell him, like, dude, you're not even hitting the bag's not hitting back, bro. Come on, like, go, like, come on.
But I didn't get back. I'm taking the hit. I got the battle scars now, David.
Good.
Perfect. So
I get plastic surgery now to fix this.
Oh gosh.
No, don't do it. It looks beautiful. Don't do it.
No, I'm not doing it. It's a battle scar. I'm glad I have it.
It's endearing, yeah.
It's endearing.
So there you go. Follow our guy. Follow David. Follow myself. And I'll talk to you guys soon.
Talk to you soon.
Sounds good, y'all.
Peace.
That's the podcast. Thank you to Angel for the music. Thank you to Trevor. Thank you to David. Thank you to Triumph Protective Coatings, where they sponsor the pod. They specialize in concrete polish, epoxy flooring systems, micro top floor and walls, and self-leveling underlays. Reach them on Instagram, Triumph_coatings. Arrows up for 10% off. My next pod is on Thursday. Super Bowl 58 preview. Niners Chiefs. It's getting real. I'm starting to get nervous. I'm ready. The media day is in full swing. So I'm ready. The teams are in Las Vegas. So Thursday, I'll have the great preview of the Super Bowl. And I'll also talk about Kobe as they are unveiling the statue of Kobe Bryant on Thursday. And NBA trade deadline. A lot of stuff happening Thursday. Teofimo fights Thursday. Our boy George. So we listen to the pod. George is fighting on Thursday as well in the undercard of Teofimo. So a lot of stuff happening. I'll be here Thursday talking to you. So that's the pod. Thank you for listening. L's up. You can listen anywhere you get your podcasts. Please rate, review, subscribe. Follow us on Instagram. Arrows up. And I'll talk to you Thursday. Let's go 49ers.